Good morning everyone and welcome back to Singapore. We are here for day 2 of the Toyota World Para Swimming Championships Singapore 2025, and there you can see some of the tastes of Singapore in the 3 notable hawker centres around the city. Making me feel hungry. Don't know about you, Liz Johnson. Welcome this morning.
Good morning, Paul. The food has been particularly good in and around the places that we've been so far.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic venue for these at Toyota World Para Swimming Championships 2025. The OCBC Aquatic Centre right here in Singapore. They call it the Red Dot Singapore. And that's the mascot as well. It's called Dot.
We haven't got one yet. You haven't got your photo yet?
We haven't, no. I do like a mascot. Anyway.
We know. Everybody knows.
Well, what a great day we had yesterday, Liz. We crowned 26 new world champions last night. And we had 3 world records in the final session last night. Fantastic, wasn't it?
It was an exciting day one. We've talked a lot about not really knowing where athletes are post the Paralympic Games year. And that we saw some rookies really delivering last night. We saw some excellent races from some very established athletes, and we set ourselves up for a good Paralympic cycle into LA 2028.
Another 24 titles to be handed out today, but it's heats all the way this morning. Try and qualify for that final session tonight. So the heats this morning, it's a variety. We've got 2 heats for some events. We've got 1 heat for some events. You think, well, why are we having 1 heat? Only because we use 8 lanes in the final, but there are 10 lanes on offer here at the OCBC pool, and we'll just swim them, all the swimmers together. That kind of makes it easier, didn't it? We thought yesterday, it makes it easier for the swimmers when they're in the same heats, and you can kind of gauge where you are. And if you're ahead of 1 or 2 swimmers, that means you're guaranteed that place in the final.
Definitely, because I think we'll see soon, but in swimming, it's the 8 fastest athletes progress from heats to finals rather than where you finish in your heat. So if you're all in the same heat, you can vie for position, where sometimes you swim in, you feel like you're going quicker than you are, and so we have seen people miscalculate that sometimes.
Yeah, there wasn't many miscalculations. We saw a few of the favourites in the outside lanes last night. Let's see what we're going to be in store for us today. We start off with the 100 freestyle S4 for men, and then for women, move down the distance, 50 metres backstroke. 150 IM's always an exciting one. Got a 400 for us to enjoy, the women's S7. 100 freestyle S6. It's always a good contest in that one. Maybe see some world records be challenged for the existing world record holder in good form, Antonio Fantine. The S14 swimmers will be back again, as will the S11 swimmers for the men. 100 breaststroke in the SB13 visually impaired class. And we finish off with the SM9 women's individual medley. So a lot to look forward to in the next couple of hours. Our technical officials there just being introduced to the crowd here in the OCBC arena. Technical officials do a great job, don't they, Liz? They turn out time after time at the big events.
They do, and this pool is particularly warm, so it's a long shift for them. They'll be back. Some of them are in for the warm-ups as well, so it can be a long 7 days, but without them we just wouldn't be able to have the competition. So everybody is always more than grateful for their time and efforts.
So, as we said, it's going to be heats all the way. The top 8 times from the heats will make it to the finals tonight. USA had a couple of good results last night. But it was Italy and Great Britain that topped the medal table after day 1. They had exactly the same number of medals. 3 golds, 3 silvers, and 3 bronze apiece. Yeah, they shared out, weren't they, yesterday?
That's exactly what I was just about to say. Yeah, there was a good spread of medals. 15 different countries getting on top, or teams getting on top of that podium last night.
Here's the first heat that we are going to see, and it's one of these events with just 1 heat, and we have 9 swimmers in that one. And there's Ernst Petracek, Czechia swimmer, lane number 0. Gustavo Sanchez Martinez from Mexico will go in lane 1. Luigi Vigiato from Italy in 2. Angel Camacho Ramirez in lane number 3. There's the man who won last night. That's Amiomer Dadon. He will go in lane number 4. He won the breaststroke last night. He'll be the favourite for this one as he is the world record holder in this one. Camacho Ramirez, Paralympic Games medalist, the Mexican. Federico Cristiani for Italy goes in lane number 5. And here's Cameron Leslie, who goes in lane number 7, the New Zealander. We skipped Roman Zdanov in lane number 6, but Cameron Leslie, an experienced campaigner. Les, you know him well. His 8th World Championship.
Yes, we've seen him perform very well over the years. I know that he was delighted to see his teammate take our medal last night, Gavin Smith, in the SP 900 metres breaststroke.
Final swimmer who I haven't mentioned, closest to us, is Ariel Maillard. He is in lane number 8. So 9 swimmers only in this one. So just having to lose 1 swimmer, so don't expect fireworks in this one, but you never know, because the likes of Amiomer Dadon, he likes to test himself sometimes in the heats.
He does. He was on great form yesterday as well in the breaststroke.
World record holder in lane number 4, starting from the water. This is the S4 classification. So a range of impairments here, as you'll see right throughout the programme. S1 to 10, those are physical impairments, with S1 being the most severe impairment and S10 being the least impaired. So this is the S4 class. We're in the lower half, so some of the more impaired athletes in the Paralympic programme in this one.
Yeah, and you can see a range of techniques, and there you see it is Federico Cristiani. He got off the block well, doesn't have any hands to use as paddles, so it's all about maximising his propulsion through the water by rotating everything through there. The Mexicans are really strong in this. Camacho Ramirez going well. We saw he'll turn first 39.81 after that excellent start, just ahead of Cristiani. And then Dadon currently in a third of the turn, 40.54, just a tenth of a second ahead of Luigi Bigiato. But Dadon does tend to come through well off the wall. As I said, he's got a great high stroke rate that he uses very effectively, and you said he does like to attack the heats.
Well, we didn't really get a good look at his turn there, because he's got a kind of a unique turn style, hasn't he, Dadon? He just goes into the wall, doesn't touch the wall with his hands, but just spins round and spins away from his feet. He's coming in now in lane number 4. He's going to be comfortably home in 1:22.22, so well done. World record holder will be safely into that final. Cristiani will be there as well, and Camacho Ramirez also. So the main contenders in this one, you can never tell, I suppose, because as we've said, danger all over the pool.
Yeah, three different impairments, 3 different styles of swimming. You can never really count out Roman Zdanov either. When he gets it right, he really does fly through the water. You see there, Cameron Leslie just 1 lane from the bottom. The experienced New Zealander really worked on that start. Like you can see just the advantage he gets off the start. He uses that well, but once they're up and into the strokes, here's the turn. You see the dome, it's almost like a swivel, tumble, half touch turn. So his split is always slower because he goes to feet, whereas the majority of athletes in this one will touch with their hands.
That's certainly effective for the world record holder. Amiomer Dadon takes that first heat, and it will be his teammate that will miss out on a place in the final, unfortunately. Ariel Maillard in 9th place, but those top 8 should progress to the final. And Dadon, as you said, Liz, looks on good form. He might be in for something special tonight.
Well, he swam exceptionally well in to take the breaststroke title last night. Best time of the year for him. So, and you save your best for major championships, right? And he's definitely done that.
Heat number 1 of the women's 100 freestyle S4. 2 heats of this one, so we have 5 in the first heat and 6 in the second. And Lydia Vera de Cruz World Championship silver medalist last time out, and the time before actually, 22-23. Silver medalist from Brazil in the centre lane. Swimmers just making their way out. Not too bad in terms of time yesterday, Liz. We were about 5 minutes slow, so that was decent for day one, wasn't it? Let's see. We'll keep a check. We'll keep a check and see how we're going along this morning.
So far, so good.
I wonder if we'll get any more shots of the call room a little bit later on. That was good. That was good to see the swimmers in that preparation area. Did you like in the call room, Liz? Were you, you know, quite a sociable person, or did you just, you know, keep yourself to yourself?
Our event was quite sociable. I think when we all tried to be too serious, we all swam worse.
Different people have different preparations for the races. Some people like to be in their own little world. I was quite sociable, I think, when I used to compete.
You still are?
Yeah. Used to like to have a chat from time to time with my competitors. So Jordan Tucker, Canadian, in lane number 2. Mira Laranova, a neutral para-athlete, going in lane number 3. Very good swim in the breaststroke yesterday. Take that silver medal. She didn't have a good start, actually. It'll be interesting to see the start here in this 100 freestyle, because Laranova was almost kind of left in the blocks, almost, on that breaststroke yesterday, or left at the wall, I should say. Vera de Cruz in the centre will be the favourite for this one. She has an advantage of around about 5 seconds on anyone in the field. Gina Butcher, German swimmer, one that has maybe come into her own in the last couple of years. A Paralympic medalist in the backstroke in Paris last year. And Monique Schacker from Switzerland, she goes in lane 6, completing that lineup. So yeah, an interesting one here. And as I said, 5 in this one, 6 in this second heat. So they have to lose 3 swimmers from all the heats.
Yeah, we can just see how the different starts play out there. Butcher off the block. Well, Vera de Cruz wants up and into her stroke. She's got that high stroke rate, you can see. Not able to extend the fingers on her hands, so really using the forearms to propel her through the water. Laranova, as you predicted, Paul, slow off the wall, but then once up and into her stroke, she really does start to propel nicely through the water.
Yeah, she came through really strongly on the breaststroke, didn't she, yesterday? She was nowhere about halfway in and stormed through for the silver medal.
She was nowhere with 10 metres to go, and then, yeah, exactly, got her hands to the wall, all importantly, in that silver medal position. 42.64 was Vera de Cruz's split, 43.6 for Laranova, 44.3 for Butcher, but Butcher did tumble, so it was a defeat time. And you can see now Butcher sort of moving back towards Vera de Cruz, but Vera de Cruz looked very comfortable through that first 75 metres.
Couple more strokes to go in this one, and it is Vera de Cruz just into the wall. 130.64 against 130.86 for Gina Butcher. Laranova 133.36. The other swimmers just coming in now, having a good contest. Monique Schacker and Jordan Tucker. There's Monique Schacker, 150.16 for the Swiss swimmer, and Jordan Tucker over on the other side of the pool, just behind Monique Schacker, 152.71 for Jordan Tucker. So you can be pleased with that one. Big improvement for the Canadian.
Yeah, but it was these 3 athletes in the centre that we can see now on the replay that really took a commanding control at the front.
It's a big time for Gina Butcher, actually, 130.86.
Yeah, back to the time that she was going in Manchester at World Championships to take that bronze medal. I know she's been working a lot on her cardio out of the pool. She does a lot of land work they do in the programme that she's in, and it pays off for those back ends of the races.
Here's the confirmed result. Vera de Cruz taking it 130.64 ahead of Gina Butcher and Maria Laranova. that was a result of Heat 1. Those top 3 you would think be safe into the final. Heat number 2 of this women's 100 freestyle S4, and the world record holder, Katie Kubiak from USA, goes in lane number 4. Katie Kubiak, a relative newcomer to parasport, making her world championship debut here at these championships. Full lineup for this one: Anastasia Goncharova, Natalie Butkova, Katie Kubiak in 4, Trisha Pereira dos Santos from Brazil in 5, Nelly Miranda Herrera, she was a world champion back in 2010 and 2013, the Mexican, and Brenda Larry from Malaysia. Going from the block in lane number 7, completing that lineup. A bit of a movement there on the blocks, just waiting for the swimmers to be settled. Some of the swimmers being held in position by their coaches in the water. Brenda Larry being held in position on the blocks, and got off to a decent start there, the Malaysian. But first chance we'll have to see the new world record holder, Liz, Katie Kubiak.
Yeah, Kubiak has really stormed onto the scene. Was an age group swimmer, and then had to stop because of surgery, and now found her way to para swimming. Tomiatska, a US Paralympian, was a coach at the same squad as her, so she knew where to reach out to. He now does a lot of adaptive CrossFit, so always being innovative. But we see here Kubiak going through 39.76. She's through Herrera dos Santos 43.18 and Butkova 44.26. They were the first 3 through the wall, but there you can see the lead that Kubiak has opened up as she comes into the 75-meter marker. Going well here.
Yeah, she does look pretty comfortable here, and looks like she is going to post the fastest time out of all the heats. 1:17.72 is the world record that she set back in April this year. It's not going to be too far out there for a heat swim, you have to say. Much faster than the first heat. 1:25.08 for Kubiak. That'll be the fastest that we will see into the final. She should be in the centre lane if this result is confirmed. Pereira dos Santos, the experienced swimmer from Brazil, got a medal yesterday in the breaststroke. Looking for another one today. 1:32 for her, so she will be around about 5th place or so. Brenda Larry coming in the lane closest to us, and lane number 2 making her way in as well. Goncharova in 1:56. Brenda Larry. Entry time was 2:07. She's come in a 2:04, so well done to the Malaysian. Katie Kubiak at the front of the field, no doubt about who was going to win that one from quite an early stage in that heat.
Yeah, they were all pretty even off the wall, off the block into the first 5 meters, but once she was into a stroke, got quite a high rotation. You can see most of the drive coming from her shoulders. Swivel around the wall there, really efficient turn, and managed to maintain that stroke rate into the finish.
So watch out for Katie Kubiak in the final. If she's got more to give, that world record might be under threat. Still waiting for confirmation of the result. So there's nothing amiss. Didn't see anything that was any issues. Again, 100 freestyles, no kind of stroke infringement, although our technical official friends always tell us it's about a dozen ways you can get disqualified on freestyle, probably more.
The most common does tend to be that false start though, doesn't it?
False start. What was it? Pulling on the ropes.
Transparent costume.
Transparent costume. Tattoos.
Oh, I think inappropriate attire, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. Branding.
Yeah.
Inappropriate branding.
Walking on the bottom.
I mean,
not sure
well
you can do that,
yeah.
Here we go, the result is confirmed, and that is a summary of all the heats. Katie Kubiak, the world record holder, will lead them through into the final. 2 Brazilians will be there, 2 neutral para athletes, German and a Mexican will be in that final, so it should be another good one. Americans had a decent night last night, didn't they?
They did. Got off to a good start, topped the podium a couple of times. That will bode well for the week.
Here is the start sheet for the men's 50 metres backstroke. S5, 2 heats for this one, so can't be much hanging about here. 7 in the first heat and 8 in the second. Yes, Francesco Bocciado. We talk about the growth of the Italian team over the last decade or so. Bocciado was one of the early ones, wasn't he? He was one of the early people that kind of was part of that first generation of Italians that made their way through into the major international.
Yeah, he was, and there's a small, like a nucleus of the team that produced result after result, and I guess that spread because now they've got such a strong team that covers a lot of different classification groups, both male and female, all different ages as well, and circumstance. So it's an example of what can happen when you've got role models and your exposure to an opportunity is increased.
Yeah, Bocciado, just looking at his first European champs was back in 2011 in Berlin. And that Italian team, it'd be interesting to see what size the Italian team was then. It's got a huge team now, but I reckon it was probably maybe around about 7 or 8 people. Bocciado has seen the growth, and he is still one of the world's very best. He goes closest to us in lane number 7, backstroke. Probably not the event for Bocciado, is more of a freestyler. Guo from China in the centre lane though, already a gold medalist. Last night in the 50 freestyle, he goes in 4. He will be one of the favourites. Artem Olnik in lane 3. 1 lane up from the Chinese swimmer. They were he was silver medalist last night behind Guo. So the 2 medalists last night are in this one, and Guo off to a great start.
Well, the youngster Zulfik was the first to pop up. Had a great start, but now that we are up and through 25, it's going to the form guide. Guo in 4 and Semenenko in 5, leading the way. Watch out for Oldinik though, he does finish strongly.
Guo just coming in now, just heading. Semenenko in the closing stages here. Not much in that one at all. 2 swimmers without arms, having to touch with the head. And 34.37 for Guo. Again, someone who's become a real star of parasport over the last year or so. Couple of years, I suppose. It was the Manchester World Championships in 2023 that we really saw him break through on the major international stage. And he's such a technician, isn't he? See that butterfly kick in the early part of that race, and then he moved to the alternate kick towards the end.
Yeah, well, you can see from that great underwater shot, his quads are so powerful, top half of his legs. And actually, then sometimes moving to that alternating kick does help flush out some of the lactic acid.
And Guo Jincheng takes that first heat, 34.37. He will be in that final. The 2 Ukrainians should be there as well. And Zulfik, the youngster from Bosnia and Herzegovina, just 14 years of age. He's given himself a good chance of making that one. Second heat, another Ukrainian in this one. That's Komarov. We have another medalist from last night in the 50 free, and that's Samuel da Silva de Oliveira. There's Komarov in that outside lane. Samuel da Silva Oliveira was the world champion back in 2022, but the world champion in 2023 and the Paralympic champion is Yuan Wei Yi, and he goes in lane number 4. You see these starting devices as well. You see the swimmers with the cords or the towels in their mouth. That's something that's been tried and tested, Liz, isn't it, over the years?
Take your marks.
Yeah, we can see from the starts there, range of techniques, range of devices, and again, you come to these major championships and you see an athlete doing something a specific way, and you try it, and sometimes it works for you, and sometimes it doesn't. This is a classic example here. These three athletes in the centre, very similar impairments, very similar methods of swimming. It was Oliveira that led through the 25, but now Yuan starting to come back. The Brazilian is swimming with confidence.
Yeah, he's doing well, and he's going to get into the wall first here in 33.87, and that's faster than the first heat that we saw. So Samuel Silva de Oliveira will be first into that final, you would think. Yuan Wei 34.30, and it was Tanaka in third place, 36.10. So the swimmers with the same impairment reached the wall first. Kirill Pulver was the next one home, 39.27.
Wow, you can see there was really nothing to separate Tanaka, Yuan and Oliveira off the block. But that great underwater shot, you can see Oliveira, he maintains that sort of double leg butterfly kick the whole way, whereas we saw in the first heat Guo go into that alternating kick for the last 7.5 meters.
Samuel de Silva de Oliveira, 33.87 for him. And he will lead the way into that final. Two Chinese swimmers will follow him. And those are the swimmers who just missed out, including Francesco Bocciardo. But yeah, again, it's always an interesting one, that S5, isn't it? Especially sprint events. It's been dominated by the Chinese swimmers, both men and women, but Samuel de Oliveira has been there or thereabouts, mixing it in with these Chinese swimmers. Got another Chinese swimmer in this one, women's 50 backstroke S5 heat 1. One and only heat, actually, and it's Hei Chengao, Paralympic Games silver medalist, going in lane number 4. On either side of her are the two Turkish swimmers, Sumay Boyachi in 3 and Seville Ozturk in lane number 5.
Well, they'll be swimming again. Excited. Turkey getting that gold medal in the very final event last night. And the wave of success does very quickly start to spread through the squad, and you want to be part of it.
Yeah, and these two Turkish swimmers have been in the team for a number of years, Boyachi and Ozturk. Boyachi been a world champion before in the butterfly event. Ozturk, Paralympic Games medalist back in Tokyo in 2021. Monica Borgioni is also in there in lane number 2. Full lineup actually. Ornquist right at the top there, the Finnish swimmer who took the medal in the freestyle last night. Hernandez Torres from Mexico, Borgioni, Boyachi, Hei in the middle, China, Ozturk, Angel Mayotam from the Philippines, Hosang Wonnothangapom from Thailand in 7, and Elizabeth Noriega down there in lane number 8. Again, 9 swimmers in this one, just got to lose 1 swimmer.
Yeah, great reaction off the block from Ozturk. Now that we see that underwater phase got used very well indeed by Hei Chengao. And the game's silver medalist. Pre-race favourite, you could say, for this one. She's got about a body length lead as they go through the 25 metres, with Ozturk in second. Otom currently in that third position, just ahead of Boyachi.
And it is going to be Hei Chengao. He's first to the wall. Another one of these swimmers who kind of burst onto the scene a couple of years ago. 42.01 for Hei Chengao. Ozturk 43.93. Angel Mayotam 45.11. And Boyachi 46.16. That's the top 4. Again, Hei Chengao. China just keep finding these swimmers, don't they? And we saw like an influx of swimmers back in 2023. And Hei Chengao, just 20 years of age still. And these youngsters still keep coming through for the Chinese team. Very strong squad.
Yeah, and way to make you feel dull, because I know we were talking about the Turkish swimmers having been on the world scene for many years, but again, they're still only 21 and 22. So.
And Angel Mayotam as well is only 22, so the youngsters at the top there, and they will progress to the finals. Hay will be first, Ozturk, Angel Mayotam and Boyachi, with Bogioni close behind as well. Philippines haven't won a medal at World Para Swimming Championships. Could this be a chance for them?
With the curse. Yes.
SM3 individual medley, 150 metres individual medley for men. 2 heats of this one. Again, it's a combined event. We have an SM2 swimmer swimming in this one and an SM1 swimmer swimming in the following heat. But they're all competing for the one set of medals, and they all have to swim up against the SM3s. And there's the young man who had such a good swim in the breaststroke, Ismail Barlov from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Breaststroke silver medalist. Full lineup, Dos Santos Araujo. He's the SM2 world record holder, the Brazilian. Omotunlu will go in lane number 5. Ahmed Kelly in lane number 4. Emmanuel Magbiano in 6, and Chakron Kaistri from Thailand will go in lane number 7. So 150 individual medley, Liz. It's one of these events it's kind of unique to the Paralympic programme, isn't it?
It absolutely is, yep. So there's no butterfly leg, backstroke, breaststroke and freestyle. Typically because that butterfly leg and the freestyle leg on an individual medley have to be significantly different, and a lot of the lower classification groups will swim either breaststroke, backstroke or butterfly on their freestyle. So that's one of the reasons. There are more, but that is one of the reasons for this unique event.
And Ahmed Kelly in gold cap of the Australian team.
Take your marks.
And they had some success last night, the Australians.
You can see from Kelly, he uses that breaststroke kick on his back to maximise his underwater, and then you can see that double arm pull from him as he goes through the 50-metre mark first, but Dos Santos Araujo with that drive from his core, really propelled completely by his feet, going well, and now in the blue cap of Brazil.
And he's in the SM2 classification. He is the world record holder in that SM2 classification, so we'll just keep an eye on him. He was 4th place, swimming up against all the SM3s in the Paralympic Games in Paris, so we know he's got a chance of mixing it with these SM3s. Unlu coming through strongly here, and he might be first to the wall, 58.15. As we got onto the breaststroke, Dos Santos Araujo 58.79 and Barlov 102.64. That is the leading 3. And Barlov, the strong breaststroker. Ahmed Kelly with a little bit of work to do. You don't want to be hanging about too much with still 7 people in the heats to follow. And Kelly beginning to make a little bit of a move.
Well, he is a very strong breaststroker, and so often on the individual medley events we talk about how the breaststroke can be the tail and leg because it's so significantly different in terms of movement patterns to the other strokes. And we can see now the breaststroke specialists moving through the field. This is us on board, so to speak, with Ahmed Kelly. Another one, we can see him there. Also Ismail Barlov at the top of the pool. As predicted, has had an excellent 40 metres on this breaststroke leg, and they're moving through the field. Unlu has sort of solidified his position as we come into what will be the final turn. Kelly over first, 2:07.96. Then it is Barlov, 2:13.43, with Unlu 2:16.75. So you can just see this is exactly what we were talking about in terms of the 150 meters individual medley. Kelly really employing that almost a butterfly technique for the freestyle leg, which is more than within his rights to do, because it is his quickest way of propelling as he goes into the final 25 meters.
Yeah, Unlu giving chase here. Unlu was the champion, Paralympic champion last year in Paris in the 50 freestyle and the 200 freestyle. So no, he's strong, but he's got a little bit of ground to make up from Kelly, who was a silver medalist in this event. He is closing, but the Australian is going to be home in front. Ahmed Kelly was just over the 3-minute mark when he swam in Paris last year, so we know he's capable of that. It's not going to be too far away from it. 3:10. So 3:10.56 for Kelly to be into the wall first. Unlu did come through strongly, and he will touch in 3:19.67. So Kelly in there in third position. It was Ismail Barlov, 3:23.99, and in fourth it was Dos Santos Araujo, 3:27.57. So a few seconds outside his world record pace, but that's not bad at all for the Brazilian. So he's lying in fourth position, ahead of Marigliano and Kaistri, the last swimmer to finish. And there's Kelly. We'll wait for confirmation of that result, but it's a good swim from the Australian.
It was, and it was really that breaststroke leg that made the difference. He was 7 seconds quicker than anyone else in the field on that one, and you really do have to play to your strengths. Unlu closest to us, he's got 3 solid strokes, it's fair to say. They were watching his turn from the back to the breaststroke. We just see the challenge of getting your momentum going on the breaststroke, but that technique that is quite unique from Kelly is super effective.
There's that butterfly at the end for Ahmed Kelly, and he should be confirmed as the winner of that one. There we are. 3:10.56 for Ahmed Kelly to take that first heat. It was a championship record for Gabriel Dos Santos Araujo in the SM2 classification, and he'll be having a close eye on this heat to see whether he can make it into that top 8. Here is the lineup for this one. So a couple of empty lanes in this one. World record holder for the SM1 classification, Shalabi, is not taking the start for this one. And also missing in lane number 3 as well. There's no Ferrer Robles from Spain, but we do have Gabriel Lorenzo from Italy in lane number 2. Josiah Top, the Paralympic champion,
Take your marks.
in lane number 4. Grant Patterson in lane number 5 for Australia. We have Marco Zarate Rodriguez in 6 from Mexico, and Jonas Kostakis from Greece will go in lane number 7, the Greek, in his 10th World Championship. It's quite a record,
Isn't it? As Toft goes through the first 25 metres already with a significant lead. He will be coming in as Paralympic champion, the one to beat. He's really made gains over the last couple of years. Behind him, the race is on. At the moment, it is Zarate Rodriguez and Lorenzo that are just ahead of Paralympic bronze medalist Grant Scooter Patterson in that gold hat of Australia's. Toft goes over 51.08. He's on to the breaststroke leg now, probably the weaker of his 3 legs on this medley race, but he has got a good advantage. As we see behind him, we can see here in venue a great shot there of him underwater. We don't get to see that from up here, so that's a great camera shot. You can just see how he uses his legs to propel him through the water. Little flick of the hands that actually proves to be good, significant propulsion. And it really is a great showcase of how these athletes use everything they've got in terms of to maximize their potential and optimize their performances. Again, you wouldn't see that necessarily from the above water shot. Just coming up onto the back of him now is Grant Patterson. He's had a great breaststroke leg here to break away from the chases of Lorenzo and Zarate Rodriguez. But again, the freestyle leg is a long way on this one. 50 meters for these SM3 athletes. A lot can happen. Scooter Patterson will touch first with 1 50-meter length to go. 2:11.25 for Patterson. 2:13.12 for Toff. It's Zarate Rodriguez in third position, 2:18.71, with Lorenzo 2:22.07.
Yeah, it's a good tussle between these two at the front of the field. Grant Patterson is making use of that arm there. It's a really high turnover, isn't it?
Yeah, he does really well. You can see again from this great head-on shot that left arm of his, he does use it to sort of propel the water, but without rotating, because he doesn't have that shoulder rotation. And this is his right arm, where he just rotates it with that high stroke rate to maximize his propulsion through the water. And he's having a great swim here. Just missed out on the medals last night, so he'll want to rectify that here in this one.
And he's coming home. And just around about a similar time to his teammate in that previous heat, 3:11.46 for Grant Patterson. It's a good finish from Gabriel Lorenzo, who is in second place, 3:14.35. The man who's making his debut at the major championships. Big improvement on the entry time for him. And the Paralympic champion, Josiah Top, in 3:15.73. Should be safe enough into that final, you would think. Zarate Rodriguez in fourth in 3:24. 3:24.33. And Kostakis, the final swimmer to finish. It's long arms for John Kostakis. It's quite high, I think it's a tetraplegic actually rather than a paraplegic, so quite high spinal injury. And as you can see at the end of this, that the leg drag really having an effect on the Greek.
Yeah, you can see all of the propulsion coming from that shoulder rotation. He comes into the final few meters now.
Yeah, he's been a fixture in these World Championships. I said 10 World Championships for the Greek, including a gold medal performance back in 2013 in the breaststroke. But there was the Paralympic champion leading them out in the early stages, Josiah Top. But Grant Patterson swam well there in that second 50 and also in the final 50. You almost see that little left arm pull there as you were talking about, Les, in that underwater shot.
Yeah, it really does maximise, like I said, everything he can out of his limbs, and it paid off in that heat swim. He'd have a good lane position for the final.
So 2 Australians in 1 and 2, Kelly and Patterson. Lorenzo, the newcomer to the World Championships, will be there in 3rd place. Josiah Top will be a threat though, the Paralympic champion. He will go through in 4th position. So we move on to the next one, 400 freestyle in the S7 classification. There's the lineup for heat number 1, 2 heats of this one. 6 in the first heat and 6 in the second. Inaki Vasilov, fresh from the win last night in the individual medley. He goes in lane number 4. And there is To Wee Sung from Singapore, one of the home swimmers, one of the big hopes for a medal for the host nation. Maybe not in this 400 freestyle, but a very good sprint freestyle and butterfly swimmer is To Wee Sung. I wonder if he's going to be able to force his way onto the podium. It'll be great if he could. just a little bit of a delay before the swimmers. But other swimmers getting out of the water and other ones coming through that entranceway.
We see some of the younger supporters. There's a flag cam today in venue on the big. There's a flag cam. There's a big cube of screens in the centre of the pool, above the centre of the pool, which I'm sure that you've seen on the wide-angle shots. And this is the 4th or 5th different type of cam we've had, isn't it? Like the flag cam. There they are. Wave your flag. I don't know if there's any prizes for the best.
I don't know.
The best shot.
We'll have to ask our venue colleagues. Maybe they can save us some. Maybe we should get some flags, Liz. You got any flags with you?
I don't think I have. They're normally up the top, aren't they? Can't play the flag game.
Oh, I know. Oh, well. It's all digital these days.
It's true. That made you sound really old, you know that, right?
Yes. There's Basilov, champion from yesterday. As I said, great 200 metres individual medley swimmer. And a cracking 400 swimmer as well. He was silver medalist at last World Champs, bronze medal in the Paralympic Games. Ricardo Soares from Portugal will go into full lineup. Aidan Williams from the USA in 2. Ricardo Soares in 3 from Portugal. Basilov in the centre lane in 4. Yaroslav Karpenko from Ukraine. Again, another one who's making his debut at the major championships. He goes in 5. Huang Tiquan from China goes in lane number 6. And To Wisung from Singapore will go in lane number 7. Be great to see him make his way to the final. As I said, much better known as a sprint swimmer, Paralympic Games finalist in the 50 freestyle and also in the 50 metres butterfly, and also took a medal at the Commonwealth Games in the 50 freestyle as well. So he's got some pedigree, the Singapore swimmer. We'll see how he gets on in this 400, his first outing of these games. And just the other day we were given a little bit of gift. We took part in a sports forum the other day, Liz, and we were given a little bit of a gift, a water bottle, and the design on it was designed by To Wisung.
Yeah, no, I think the attention, we talked about it briefly in last night's final session. I think the attention to detail that the organisers have put on for this World Para Swimming Championships has been, they have tried to include athletes we saw last night and people of relevance into a lot of what is happening in the course of the week, whether that be at the opening ceremony, whether that be the designs of things. So it's really cool, and I think they're really trying to increase the exposure of parasport here in Singapore as Karpenko goes over at the 100, 109.58, Basilov 111.25, and Williams of the USA 113.49. They were the top 3 after 100 metres. 6 lengths of this pool to go. Quite a high stroke rate there from Karpenko.
His entry time is just on the 5-minute mark. So we'll see how he goes as he gets up to the 150 mark. Basilov with an entry time of much faster, 440.02 for Basilov. So he's looking pretty comfortable, the Argentinian. Karpenko going over 148.19, Basilov 149.26. Soares has now moved into 3rd place, the Portuguese swimmer, 153.35. And Soares, we saw him back in the Europeans in 2018 in Dublin. I don't think he's been to a major championship since then, Portuguese swimmer. So a little bit of a comeback for the Portuguese swimmer, and he's doing well up there, just on the corner of the shot there in line 3 as they come to the halfway point. Basilov just about catching Karpenko, but Karpenko still has the lead, 226.96 against Basilov's 227.27. Soares still in 3rd, 233.21.
Yeah, Karpenko with the better push off the wall as well, but Basilov will be just working his way through this heat this morning. win in the 200 meters individual medley last night. Again, some athletes end up with all their best events quite stacked together in a program. Some a bit more spread out. People have different preferences. You can treat it as a smaller meet in some respects if that happens. So Basilov will he's well practiced, he's well experienced as he takes the lead now at the 250 mark. 305.12 to 306.35 for Karpenko. Suarez still in that third position at the moment, 312.69 ahead of Williams, 315.98 with Toll, 316.03. But Basilov, now that he's hit the front, has really settled into his stroke. You can see that long stretch. He's just, like I said, we say blowing the cobwebs away, like flushing his system out after yesterday's final. You can do that if you're good at 400 meters. I never had the opportunity. But as he goes over, 343.25, Karpenko 346.39. Suarez is still there at the top of the shot. Be in third position, 352.75. There is that really smooth stroke of Basilov. He just looks so comfortable. Like he's making it look easy.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He is making it look easy, but I bet he's working. He's putting some work into it, but it does look relaxed, absolutely relaxed. Metronomic, really, the stroke rate. The technique is fantastic for the Argentinian. He's a great 200 freestyler. He was the world record holder in the 200 freestyle. And as we said, 200 meters individual medley, just been crowned the world champion last night. And this 400 is right in the wheelhouse of Inaki Basilov. 421.53 with 50 to go. Karpenko is still in second, 425, and Suarez 432. As Basilov now coming into the last 10 meters. It has been a great swim from Basilov, relaxed and just under the 5-minute mark. 4:59.14. Karpenko in second, 5:04.74. He will make his way into the final, you would think. Yeah, he will do, with 6 in the second heat. The top 2 will qualify. Suarez giving himself a great chance with 5:12.07. Aidan Williams 5:15.96. And To Song in 5th position, 5:19.35 for the Singapore swimmer. It's still Huang to finish for the Chinese team. And he's coming through in lane number 6. But To Song, nice way to start. As I said, shouldn't really have expected too much in a 400 freestyle, but decent in the early stages there. So these sprint events, well, watch out for him later in the week.
Yeah, and it's a home championships, right? You want to take every opportunity that you've got to race in your home, in front of your home crowd, in a home pool, and be ready for when your main event comes along. And he's got that luxury that his races are later in the meet. He had a good start, as did this man, Yaroslav Karpenko. He took it out well. Again, different impairments approach the distance events particularly very differently. Karpenko sort of held a similar pace the whole way through, a similar style, whereas Basilov definitely built through the 400 meters.
Basilov takes that one. 4:59.14. Karpenko 5:04.74, and Suarez in third position, 5:12.07. Aidan Williams in fourth in 5:15.96. So you'll keep an eye on this second heat, 5:15.96. There's the target in this second heat. He's got some. Yeah, I think all the swimmers have got entry times inside that 5:15, and they will have seen that first heat. Line up for this one: Riccardo Magrassi from Italy, into Ernie Gawalan from the Philippines in 3. Federico Biccelli, Paralympic champion from Italy, goes in 4. Alexei Ganuk in 5. Neutral para athlete Karlo Knisovic from Croatia in 6. And Romania's Darius Dumitru goes in lane number 7.
The athletes are just standing down for a second at the start.
Gowland, the Asian champion in 2023. A little bit of a discussion going on with the Italians here. Grassi, line number 2. Gowland just missed out on the medals at the World Championships last time out in 2023. As we said previously in that women's race, I don't think Philippines have won a medal at World Para Swimming Championships, so 2 good chances today for that Philippines team.
Take your marks.
So there we can see again another heat number 2, 8 lengths of the pool, and as I said, we can see a range of starting techniques off the block. That black hat in lane 5 belongs to Alexei Ganyuk. He started in the water. He has got a high stroke rate. A long way to go though in this one, so you can't always read too much into the first 50 meters. 32.80 for Ganyuk. Nezovic 34.51, and then Magrassi 34.91 up there in lane 2. The first of the Italians over. 35.15 for Bocelli. 35.80 for Gawilan of the Philippines. So it is still Ganyuk that leads the way through 75 meters.
Yeah, he was a finalist last year in Paris, 5th position in that final. Bocelli, of course, won that race ahead of Andrei Trusov of Ukraine, who's not at these championships, and Basilov, we saw in that previous heat, took the bronze medal. Galawan was 4th, and Ganyuk was 5th, so we've got a real star-studded field here in this 400 freestyle. Ganyuk still leads them after the 100, 109.99. Kanisevic 112.10, and Bocelli beginning to move through 113.12, just 3 100s ahead of his teammate Magrassi at the 100 mark.
Yeah, there's a line behind the early leader, Ganyuk. Bocelli does tend to swim this 400 meters freestyle very similarly to Basilov that we saw in the first heat, prominently propelled by his upper body. And so he tends to almost gather speed and power during the second half of the race. That is still Alexei Ganyuk. Went over a 148.32 with just over a 3-second lead from Magrassi, who'd moved in to second. But really nothing to separate 2, 3 and 4 at that turn. We'll look at the halfway point as things start to settle a little more behind Ganyuk. But Ganyuk looking good. It's a 200 meter mark, 226.70 for him. 229.81, but Bocelli has now moved into that second position, but only 0.2 of a second ahead of Magrassi. 2 Italians now in keeping each other company in second and third position.
Yeah, Magrassi only 16 years of age for Magrassi, making his World Championship debut. And 10 years his senior is Federico Bocelli. And yeah, we talked about role models, and Federico Bocelli is certainly one that the youngster Magrassi can chase. Magrassi actually ahead of Bocelli still. Ganyuk still take the lead there as we've gone into this second half here. 3:05.63, Magrassi 3:07.52, and Bocelli 3:07.61. Nothing in it at all.
Yeah, Bocelli now moving up, starting to move up level with Ganyuk as they go through the 15 meter marker to complete this 100, and it will be Bocelli that hits the front with 100 meters to go. He turns 3:44.06, 44.24 for Ganyuk, with Magrassi still going well in that third position, 3:46.59. But that was the quickest split of this swim so far for Bocelli, 36.45, that 50 meters. Seems to have sort of slowed it down a little bit now. He's just testing himself make sure he had that speed. He knows he'll need it tonight. Should everything go well and make it into the final unscathed.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, that one, wasn't it? 36.4 for that previous 50. He slowed down that one to 39.1. So just maybe sending a little bit of a message, Bocelli, that he's here and, you know, he's still got something in the tank. Gagnon did take the lead back again at that final turn, 4:21.96. Bocelli 4:23.22 and Magrassi 4:24.18. But again, a gear change for Federico Bocelli, and he will stretch away from the others, just showing the power of the Italian here in the closing stages. Bocelli takes it 4:57.01, Gagnon 4:59.00, and Magrassi, the youngster, 5:01.20. Gawalan is going to be in 5:09.14. Philippine swimmer should make to the final with that one, and Kanisevic might be there as well in 5:11.75. I think those top 5 from that heat are going to make it. All the second heat are going to make it through, I think.
Well, we'll just wait for those results to be confirmed, but that is a solid demonstration of what we regularly talk about within the swimming. As we just get a great look at the starts and the range of starts there in this heat number 2. It is just heats. Anyone can make it into the final as long as you take to the start line of the heats and complete the race without getting disqualified. It is the 8 fastest times. Not like some other sports. Doesn't matter what position you're finishing in your heat. Doesn't matter what your heat draw is or your lane draw. It's all about the 8 quickest times progressing through to the final session.
Bocelli looked good though, didn't he? Changing the gear up and down in the second half of that race. He wins that second heat and he will progress to the final in the top spot, 4:57.01. Gagnon, Basilov will be there, Magrassi, Karpenko, Gawalan, Kanisevic and Suarez. Aidan Williams from the USA just missing out, as will the home swimmer To Woo-song. So the women's 400 freestyle coming up very shortly. Got a dance cam now in the venue. Here's the lineup for the 400 freestyle S7, Heat 1. Chiova, Nick Braddock from Ireland, Anna Bokatreva, future para athlete Ahalia Lettenberger from the USA, Naomi Ortiz Mendes, Mexico, and Lera Ortiz Campos from Spain. Bocelli looked impressive, Basilov looked impressive in that men's event, didn't they? There's going to be a real head-to-head between these two, you would imagine, but there's others in the mix as well. Gagnon looked good.
He did. And again, like, there's always a chance of an outside smoker, especially when you've got rookies in the pool. They used to a tight tussle in that one, don't they? As you said, Andrei Trusov not present, but...
yeah, I mean, that Basilov, Trusov, Bocelli had some fantastic battles over the last few years. 2 of them left now. I wonder if it's going to be a head-to-head or anyone else coming into the mix. We'll find out tonight. Women, though, are going for their 400 freestyle. USA represented in this first heat by Ahalia Lettenberger in lane number 4. There's Naomi Ortiz Mendes, Paralympic Games finalist last year, 17-year-old. Spain with Lera Ortiz Campos in that outside lane. Listed at the European Championships in 100 freestyle.
Take your marks.
Most swimmers in this S7 class going from the dive. Just one swimmer in the water, and that's Anna Bogatreva. Again, you talked about the rookies. She is one of them, making her first appearance at a major championship, the swimmer in lane number 3, and off to a great start.
Yeah, she had an excellent start through 25 metres. She said she started in the water, but she got that straight arm freestyle. It's really effective in the first, well, like I said, first length of this race. Quite a high stroke rate to maintain for 400 metres, but she will be the one that goes over first. 36.89 ahead of Lettenberger, 37.61. And then Ortiz Mendes, 38.99. She's going well in these first 75 metres. Lettenberger, similar to Bocelli and Basilov that we saw in the men's event in terms of the way that she swims this and the impairment type that she has, as in the fact that she drives her stroke very much from that top half of her body. And they're sort of settling into their strokes now. Bogotreva over 116.41, 117.7 for Lettenberger. Ortiz Mendes 121.71.
Yeah, Bogotreva, just 15 years of age. Like you said, Liz, that high stroke rate, that high turnover of stroke is going to be difficult to maintain for that 400 freestyle. And already Lettenberger is beginning to make a little bit of inroads into that early lead. Lettenberger, silver medalist last time out of the World Championships. The USA went 1-2 with Morgan Stickney taking the gold. Morgan Stickney will be in the next heat. And Bogotreva still with the lead, 158.74. Although Lettenberger's time not registering there. Oh, just 1/100th behind actually. Here it comes, 158.75. But now Lettenberger taking it up the running, and Ortiz Mendes back in third place in 206.64. So Lettenberger now coming into the halfway point. And she is going to have a lead now, just stretching away from Bogotreva. Very consistent swimming here from Lettenberger. Bogotreva just feeling the pace a little bit as they go into the second half of this one. 2:40.04 for Lettenberger, 2:42.35 for Bogotreva. And some way behind Ortiz Mendes, 2:52.83.
Yeah, there we can see the experience of Lettenberger. Again, swam that 200 metres individual medley last night, so back up and in this morning, just working her way through this one. She'll really fancy her chances of getting back on the World Championship podium in this event tonight. You've got to be in it to win it, so it's about getting through as comfortably as possible with confidence. And she's gone over there to 3:21.63, and you said very consistent indeed. It's 0.3 slower than her last 50 split. Really settled. She's had a year in Great Britain studying a master's at Loughborough University, so she's got involved in the student program there and seems to have enjoyed her time. It is a challenge to balance sometimes your studies when you're an athlete, a student athlete, but it's vital, and some athletes feel that they actually do a lot better when they've got something to focus on outside of the pool. We were talking earlier about the pedigree that the Americans have in this event. 4:03.44, another 41 point for Lettenberger. She goes through that 300 mark. Now she's got just under a 7-second lead over Bogotreva after that fast start. But like I said, the Americans, we talked about it the last time, they didn't win a gold medal in this event. It was back in 2002.
That's an incredible record, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. Erin Popovich won in 2006. Mallory Wegerman, who swam well yesterday in the IM, won in 2010. Courtney Jordan had 2 wins, 13 and 14. Mackenzie Cohen had 3 wins. And Morgan Stickney is the reigning champion. Alda Lettenberger, 4:45.45 as she goes over that final turn. She's been a medalist the last 3 World Championships, Liz. 2 silvers and a bronze. And by this performance, she's looking good for another medal here tonight.
Yeah, she looks very strong indeed. Didn't panic when Bogatreva went out quickly in that first 100 meters, and she's done exactly what she needed to do here this morning as she comes into the final 5 meters.
And it is fairly decent time there from Nadia Littenberger, 5:27.15. Nice strong finish from Bogatreva, 5:37.22 for the youngster, an improvement of 5 seconds on her time. So the tactics worked for Bogatreva in terms of her own personal time. Ortiz Campos actually coming in front ahead of Ortiz Mendes. Spanish swimmer getting in for third. That could be vital in making it through to that final. 5:55.19 for the Spanish swimmer and 5:58.06 for the Mexican. Shiva Nick Braddock, 6:06.17 for the Irish swimmer. Well, just a couple of seconds down on her entry time.
Well, there we can see this is about the point where Lettenberger was preparing to take the lead. Bogatreva did get her feet to the wall on that turn first, but after that it was all Alia Lettenberger.
Yeah, Lettenberger looking very good. And USA certainly have one finalist tonight to try and maintain that record. We've got another one coming up now. Morgan Stickney in the heat to follow is the reigning champion. Alia Lettenberger confirmed as the winner of that first heat, 5:27.15. Anna Bogatreva in second position. And Lara Ortiz Campos coming through strongly there for third. There's the lineup for the next heat. Chen Shuyin, China in 3.
Take your marks.
Morgan Stickney, the reigning world and Paralympic champion from the USA, going in 4. Chloe Osborne off to a good start with that gold cap of Australia in line number 5. Veronika Korsova, who had a very good swim in the individual medley yesterday for Ukraine, goes in 6. And Costa Rica's Sara Miranda Corrales goes in line 7.
Well, through the first 35 metres, that is Chloe Osborne of Australia. She's got that long stroke, that high elbow. Slightly slower stroke rate, the touch turn for the Australian means that her time will be to hand 35.38. Morgan Stickney tends again to build her way into this one, 36.06. And then Korsova, 37.76. Korsova did have a strong second half of her 200 metres individual medley. Broke her personal best time twice in one day, so we know that she is in good form. But again, it's back up straight away next morning. So she'll just be looking to get through this heat at the front of the field. It's fair to say that Stickney and Osborne, these are probably their preferred events. And so they are straight up and into it. Stickney, 37.68 was that split, 113.74 at the turn, 114.42 for Osborne. It was a split of 39.04. We were talking about the Americans' dominance in this one. The last country to win a gold medal in this was Australia. 2002 in Mardell Platter Hall. Back in the day.
Chantal Wolfenden, back in those times, she was a backing star in this class for the American team.
Australian even,
yeah. I'm used to the Americans winning this one.
It's true.
It's going to be difficult to see beyond now, isn't it? Morgan Stickney is stretching away now. 152.22. Chloe Osborne in at 154.71. Korsova still there or thereabouts, with Chen actually taking up the running in third place, 203.76. The Chinese swimmer. Morgan Stickney, well, had Incredible record over the past few years. She's only come into para sport again fairly late. It was the Paralympic Games in Tokyo was kind of the first time that we saw her. And she just became an amputee in 2018.
Yeah, and she does have regular health challenges still with her condition and her and also her stumps. Often she spends a lot of time off of her legs, which can be a challenge out of the water. It's always nice. So many swimmers, particularly para swimmers, talk about the freedom that the water gives them, and I think it can be really nice. Like I always found as an athlete, there's good headspace in the water. You're with yourself, but also you don't need any of your assistance or mobility aids. Once you're in off the block, you're in and it's just you and the water, and it can be quite a freeing feeling regardless of your situation and what you're used to. And Stickney, she does generally manage to pull it together when it matters for these major championships meets. Shows great strength, both physically and mentally, to come through and perform. She goes over 3:48.96 with 100 meters to go. We just see Osborne there, probably about 11 meters behind. And we were talking to some of the athletes yesterday about the fact that this is the cycle after the Paralympic Games, and it doesn't matter what your plan is in terms of your sustainability and your longevity to get you to the next Games. When you stand behind that block, you are used to racing and you want to win. So even if you're looking at the bigger picture, sometimes, like I said, it can be a challenge to know that maybe you're not in the best shape that you could have been or have been in the past, or that you haven't had the preparation you plan to have. And that is really where it comes down to your mental well-being and the strength that you have and the people around you that support you to prepare you to perform your best on the given day with what you've got. And Stickney is very, very good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. She always manages to pull out the big swims when it matters, and she's certainly pulling out big swim here. The second position, Chloe Osborne, almost out of shot now. She is out of shot as we just close in on the leader, who's going to become the winner of this second heat. And it is at 5:06.16 for Morgan Stickney, world champion, Paralympic champion, world record holder. Morgan Stickney set that world record last year. Chloe Osborne coming in 5:22. Well done, Chloe Osborne. Should be good enough for a place in that final. Cheng, now in lane number 3, is coming in for China. Cheng, entry time of 5:39. She's improved that to 5:36.74. And here's Korsava. Again, as we said, Liz, that fantastic swim in the individual medley yesterday. And Korsava with that entry time of 5:47. It's going to be outside that, I think. 5:59 for her. Wonder if that is going to be good enough for a place in that final. So Miranda Corrales, the final swimmer to finish. 20-year-old from Costa Rica in her second World Championships. And Korsava might just make it into the final with that one, Liz. Just checking the summary. Stickney will certainly be there. Chloe Osborne will be there. Ahalia Lettenberger will be there from the first heat as well. They could be the ones to fight out the medals, but Stickney behind in the very early stages, but once we got into the race, there was no doubt about who was going to take this one. The class of the field, Morgan Stickney.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to see past her for that gold medal this evening if those results are confirmed. She really is a dominant force in this 400 meters freestyle S7.
So Morgan Stickney will be first as we progress into that final with Chloe Osborne, Lettenberger, Chen Bogatreva, Ortiz Campos, Ortiz Mendes and Korsava. That will be the finalists for that one. Keeping that incredible run of the Americans going, potentially.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
So men's S6 coming up, 100 freestyle. Philippines have had a busy day. Gary Bugino going in this one in lane number 2. Mikhail Evchenko from neutral para team in lane 3. Laurent Chaudard in lane 4 from France. And the 2 Colombians, Nelson Crispin and Santiago Leon Prada. They go in 5 and 6. There's Laurent Chaudard there in lane number 4. Nelson Crispin in lane number 5. They have had some cracking battles over the years. Nelson Crispin won this title in 2019, and in fact tied with with Laurent Chaudard and Nelson Crispin for silver medal in 2022. 2 in the centre lanes.
Line up for the start, please.
There's
Quiet for the start.
some school kids in the venue. They're being hushed by our venue announcers. It's nice to see the support of locals, isn't it?
It is.
It's always a great atmosphere when the school kids come in.
It's weird how each sport has its etiquette though, doesn't it? Spectator. As soon as that gun goes, you can make as much noise as you want.
Yeah, some people encourage noise at the start, isn't it? Not in swimming, obviously, but Laurent Chaudard there again. The S6 class, you see that range of impairments.
That's a really clever start. Did you see how he used his assistant's shoulder almost as a stand for his stump leg so that you can maximise the propulsion of it? That's smart. I've not seen him do that before. Really developed that well. And here you can see Chaudard and Crispin go well, but it's also going well is Santiago Leon Prada in the early stages. The second, well, you'd say the second Colombian in this, but at the moment he is the first Colombian. He turns 31.72, the 17-year-old, ahead of Chaudard, 32.16, with Evchenko getting in just ahead of Crispin, 32.43 to 32.56. All very close at the front. These S6 events often produce exciting races, so they go through 75 metres. That is Chaudard, the Paralympic bronze medalist of France, leading the way. The 2 Colombians battling it out closest to us.
He had a great turn there, Laurent Chaudard, to take him ahead of the 2 Colombians. Real battle for those 2. Nelson Crispin keeping an eye on his young rival, and he just gets in ahead of him. But Chaudard into the wall first, 106.66. Crispin and Leon Prada, great swims from the 2 Colombians in 107.41 and 107.83. So fantastic times for Leon Prada there, but Laurent Chaudard looking good. Safely into that final. What, Colombia unearthed another talent? Got a great squad, haven't they, para swimmers?
They have, but again, it goes to show, doesn't it? Once you've got those role models, once you have that exposure, once you realise what opportunities are out there, then it does attract other young swimmers.
That's a great turn from Chaudard.
He's a great technician.
Again, someone who acquired his impairment, wasn't it, Laurent Chaudard? It was a shark attack from Laurent Chaudard. And he will take that one, 106.66. Nelson Crispin Cordo, Leon Prada, the 2 Colombians in second. Evchenko in 109.20 was 4th position. Laurent Chaudard's one of the stars for France. He should be in that final. There's the lineup for the second heat. Tang, Koshman, Fantine, Glock, Brendan Acosta and Rodrigo. Another Colombian in this one in lane number 6, but the world record holder is there, Antonio Fantine, who has dominated this event over the past few years. Double Paralympic champion in this one, double world champion in this one. Here's the Colombian, Brendan Acosta in lane number 6. Taliesin Glock going in lane number 5. Fantine will start in the water, and he has had some cracking swims and almost become accustomed to Fantine going hard in the heats. We've seen him quite often break record marks in the morning's heats and come back and break them again in the final. So no surprise if Fantine will go out for a fast time here.
Yeah, well, Fantine in this 100 metres, he really is, in recent years, in a league of his own. And you can just see he gets nothing off that start. He's straight up and into his stroke, and he relies on that very high rotation to keep the momentum moving forward as he turns in 31.36, ahead of Brendan Acosta, the Colombian, down in lane 6, 31.93, with Glock 32.47 and Koshman 32.76. But that high rate means that you can't, if you slow it down too much, your whole body position changes, as we see him go through 75 metres. Not as quick as he normally is in a heat, but he's going very well here. No doubt who's going to take the touch.
Yeah, he's away clear water between Antonio Fantine and the rest of the pool, and 104.75 for the world record holder. Glock in 107.26. Another good Colombian performance from Brendan Acosta, and he's third in 107.69, and Koshman from Ukraine in fourth in 108.12. So another good swim from Colombia. They're all on the 107 range, all the three Colombians over the two heats.
They are, and again, we saw, such a range of impairment types in this category. Talison Glock of Brazil, it's very, very similar impairment type to Lauren Chardard, as we saw in the first heat. Cinema stroke dial too. Antonio Fantine, he's just got that high stroke. It's really high. It's really hard. You have to work really hard to be able to maintain that 400 meters, which is where he sets himself apart, really.
Antonio Fantine will be fastest into that final. Lauren Chardard and Talison Glock will also be there, and the three Colombians all grouped together in fourth, fifth and sixth. So that'll be an interesting one. That'll be a country battle there for the Colombians. And the two young, Nelson Crispin, the experienced man, but the two youngsters really looking good.
They'll have no fear as well, and they'll be used to racing him domestically.
Men's 200 metres individual medley in the SM10 class. Swimmers with a minimal physical impairment. And there's the lineup for this one. Alex Safi from Australia going in lane number 1. Artem Isaev, we saw him take a silver medal yesterday in the breaststroke. Cohen Boyd was also in the 50 freestyle final last night. The American with the fastest entry time. 16 years of age, Cohen Boyd. Here Nemchenko, he was on the medal podium last night in the 50 freestyle. Alan Ogorjalek from Poland will go in lane 6, and Tadeusz Strasik will go in 7 from Czechia. And there's 16-year-old Cohen Boyd. Again, another one of this American team. They've got quite a batch of newcomers, the Americans, this year.
Yeah, and it's great to see, because I think they've always had in recent years, they've had a very strong women's team, and always a considerably smaller men's team. So it's good to see that they are starting to build that into their home Paralympic Games.
So the SM10, 200 metres individual medley.
Take your marks.
Oh, they get away well, going well in the early stage. Nemchenko in the closer of those two yellow lanes to us, the white hat of Ukraine, one lane down from Cohen Boyd of the USA. Made good progress in his 50 metres freestyle last night. He dropped significant time to take that bronze medal, and it is Nemchenko 26.57 ahead of Boyd 27.05. Safi's 27.62. With Ogorzelek 28.31. They move onto the backstroke, and already Boyd moving through the halfway point of the backstroke leg into the lead. He's got about 3/4 body length over Nimchenko as they come into the halfway point.
Yeah, he looks very decent backstroker here, does Cohen Boyd. And he will take the lead, 101.00, Nimchenko 102. Safi coming through into third place, right at the top there from Australia, 104.29. Isaev in lane number 3 was a medalist in the breaststroke. Watch out for him to come through, but Cohen Boyd will look to hold on to that advantage that he has got, and he is absolutely stretching away from the others in this field. It's a great performance from the American here in this heat.
It is, and that yellow hat at the top for Australia of Alex Safi is going well down this breaststroke split 2, but it will be Boyd that turns first into the final freestyle leg. 142.04 for him, 145.70. Alex Safi had a very similar split, as did Tadeusz Strazik of the Czech Republic, to move him up into third position. They all went 41 points. Nimchenko 45.6. That was where the difference was made. But here, Boyd looking very strong indeed.
Oh, Boyd is out in front. Safi clear in second. A real tussle for third here. Might be Nimchenko coming through strongly. The winner is Cohen Boyd, though, in 2:13.96. Safi 2:17.66 and Nimchenko 2:19.01. That is the top 3. Olga Zhalek just getting forward, 2:20.25. A real tussle for third, but that's a good performance from that young man there. Cohen Boyd, what a good swim.
Yeah, strong heat swim. We've talked about these youngsters coming in. It can go either way. You can either soak up the atmosphere, ride the wave, or it can often, the adrenaline can get the better of you. Not for Cohen Boyd, though. He does top the world rankings this year at 2:12.7. So strong for him. It's a fast second heat coming up. The Italians haven't swum the 200 medley this year, so expect them to slot themselves nicely into those world rankings. But you could only race who turns up, right? So, and to this point, Boyd has been that person. He'll be pleased with that.
Yeah, 2:13.96. Excellent time there for Cohen Boyd. Alex Safi with 2:17.66. He'll be pleased with that one. That should guarantee him a place, I would think, in that final. Nimchenko in third, so giving himself a good chance as well. The two Italians go in this second heat, side by side, Menciotti and Raimondi. Full lineup. Zhang in lane number 1. Alex Elliott in 2. Menciotti in 3. Raimondi in 4. Cole Pearce, Paralympic silver medalist behind Raimondi, goes in at lane number 5. Thomas Cordeiro from Portugal in 6, and Fernando Lu from Canada in lane number 7.
Well, Cole Pearce has got a very strong butterfly. We talk a lot about how, like countries, we just talked about the Colombians, how they can end up with a lot of strength and depth in one classification group. The Australians seem to be doing that with their male S10 swimmers at the moment. Cole Pearce, the 5th S10 male Australian that we've seen in 2 days of competition. He does lead the way, 26.76 ahead of Raimondi's 27.39 and Menciotti's 27.81. That is just ahead of the two Canadians, Lou and Elliott, with Cordero and then Zhang rounding out that butterfly. Raimondi, we know he's got a strong breaststroke, but Pearce looking good in this first half of the medley. Menciotti with a good backstroke too, and he's holding on to his compatriot as they come into the halfway point.
And Cole Pearce does take that one, 101.21. Raimondi in second, 103.05. Gold and silver medalist last year in the Paris Paralympic Games. Raimondi has won the last 2 world titles as well, ahead of Cole Pearce. It's been the same result every time, 22 and 23. Raimondi on top and Pearce in second position. So they know each other well, these two, but it's the Australian who just has the edge. It's quite close actually. Behind him, maybe 3 or 4 swimmers now in the mix. It is going to be Pearce up to the wall here and coming through very strongly at the bottom. Menciotti, Fernando Liu as well. Raimondi now in 4th.
Well, Canadian Fernando Liu has had an excellent middle 100 metres off this race. Bit like Alex Safi in heat number 1. Raimondi now seems to be trying to break away from Menciotti and Liu. But it's Cole Pierce that it looks like he has controlled this well from start to finish. Liu is finishing fast down the bottom of the picture.
Cole Pierce into the wall first, 2:15.95. Raimondi came through for second, 2:16.72 for the Italian champion. Fernando Liu was only 1/100th behind him actually, 2:16.73. Menciotti in 4th, 2:18.26. Just ahead of Thomas Cardeiro, 2:18.69 for the Portuguese swimmer. That was, well, very close indeed there behind Cole Pierce, who dominated that one from, well, very early stages, Cole Pierce.
Yeah, we know him to be more of like a butterfly swimmer in terms of the individual strokes, but he set himself up well and he's really worked. Like I said, he's got an excellent medley and he's really continuing to work on that. It's paying off.
Well, it was a fast second heat there. Cohen Boyd will take the top spot into that final, but Cole Pierce will be in there as well. Raimondi, Liu, Safi, Menciotti, Cordero and Nimchenko. So 5 swimmers from that second heat made it through. Again, another good one in prospect. The young American swimmer looked very good. But Raimondi and Pierce have the experience. It's going to be an interesting one. 100 backstroke, S8 for men coming through now. 2 Ukrainians in the centre lanes there. Floridian and Trenenko. Got the flag cam again? Liz?
We need to get a flag, just in case. But then they might start coming to us for other cams and
Oh yeah.
my dancing's not up to it.
Yeah, we need to comb our hair and stuff like that. These headsets don't do much for the hair, really, do
Yeah, let's blame the headsets.
they? Yeah, that's it. Always do. And there's school kids that have come in, well, part of them anyway. There are quite a few school kids there in the front rows, making some great noise, but not at the start.
Well, not anymore. They're quick learners.
In a place. So 100 backstroke for men. 2 heats of this one, 6 in the first heat, 7 in the second heat. Again, some big names in this one. Paralympic world champion Inigo Lopez Sanz will go in the second heat. It's going to be quite close, this one. It's almost wide open, and Lopez Sanz has kind of dominated in the last couple of years. Kubota, who also goes in the second heat, and he's been the silver medalist at major championships recently, but there's a chance for someone to step up here and get their way onto the medal podium.
Yeah, this is an example of one of those where the heat progression to final is wide open as well, so you can't afford to hang around too much if you want to guarantee that you get it.
Well, Uzbekistan's by Nazarov in lane 2. Kotaro Ojiwara from Japan in 3. Edward Toridian and Bohdan Velenko from Ukraine in the centre lanes 4 and 5. Reed Maxwell Samuel in the 400 freestyle yesterday, the Canadian, just missing out on the medals there, and he goes in 6. And Marco Oseta Velasco from Spain, closest to us, in lane number 7. This is the S8 100 backstroke.
Yeah, very similar strokes, yeah, from Iguala and Kodronen in 3 and 4, that single arm backstroke as they come under the flags pretty much together, turn, little to separate them. It's 31.61 to the Ukrainian, 31.69 to the Japanese athlete, and they are ahead of the rest of the field. Bolsonaro going well for Uzbekistan up in lane number 2. But as you said, Paul, it's all very close, and it's starting to close up as they go into the final 75 meters behind the 2 that are out in front, Horodainen and Ogiwara.
Ogiwara almost diving into that backstroke as he puts his arm in the water there. Horodainen is going to be into the wall first in 107.60. That's a decent time there, and 107.63 for Ogiwara, with Reid Maxwell in 3rd place in 110.22, just ahead of Bolsonaro. 111.14 for him, but 2 out in front, looking pretty good with that one arm backstroke. Good technique there from these 2.
Yeah, that one arm backstroke very much driven from the legs. She had a great turn, nothing to separate them really. And they had a significant enough lead. Like you said, it's very close in this one. If you look at the times from the entries, you didn't want to be in that position where it all came down to the touch. And that's what happened. Horodainen and Ogiwara made sure of that. They were out there clear 1 and 2. So we just wait for those results to come in and be confirmed. That's what you need, a fan, a dot fan.
You do need a fan, yeah. Go Singapore written on that one. I wonder if there's any Singaporean swimmers to come up a little bit later on. I hope there is, for the sake of the supporters in here. Oh yeah, there is. We do have a couple later on in the programme, so that's one for these to watch out for. Just waiting for the confirmed result here. Horodainen will take that one, 106.64. Just ahead of Ogiwara in 107.63. Those 2 in a good position. Qualify for that final. Reid Maxwell should also be there in 110.22. But 7 swimmers are going to be in this next heat. Vaskakov, neutral para athlete, going in 1. Martos Mingyu from Spain into Yaraman from Turkey in 3. Lopez Sanz, the Paralympic and world champion, in 4. Kubota, Paralympic and world silver medalist, in 5. Lu Fengyi from China in 6, and Mandrika from Ukraine in 7.
Take your marks.
Well, a good start there coming from Kubota of Japan in 5. It's closest to us are the yellow lanes, but also 1 lane closest to us. Lu used that underwater very effectively indeed. Just looking now at Lopez Sanz and Yaraman as we spread out. It is still Kubota who's riding the waves that early start. That high stroke rate though of Yaraman. We've talked about teams really growing, and Turkey is one of those that has grown in recent years. He goes over, he went over first, but his feet got to the wall second, 31.98 behind Kubota's 31.63, with Lopez Sanz 32.07. That is Kubota there, currently still in the lead, but Lopez Sanz with that high stroke rate starting to come through.
Yeah, Lopez Sanz now beginning to come through in the centre of those leading 3. It's going to be a tight one though. Lopez Sanz has timed this pretty well though. And the Paralympic champion is going to be home in 1st place in 106.41. Kubota in 2nd, 107.29, and Yarman in 107.41. So excellent times there. And 106.41 for Lopez Sanz. Coming through very strongly in the closing stages there.
Yeah, you can see Lopez Sanz has been clear, 2 seconds clear of anybody else this year. He will be the man to beat tonight.
Yeah, he's been the man to beat for, well, the last couple of years. Inigo Lopez Sanz. Maybe looking looking to claim another world title for the Spanish team. Yarman looked good though, didn't he? That high turnover stroke for Yarman, and Kubota was good in the early stages, just got caught in the closing few meters by Lopez Sanz.
Yeah, Lopez Sanz wound up his arms through the 100, whereas when you start the way Yarman did, like I said, he puts a lot of pressure on those shoulders to keep that speed and that high stroke rate for the duration. It's going to be, there's a lot of close times there tonight, so again, if those results are confirmed, then we are in for an exciting race where there will be potential for podium across the floor.
Well, there was a disqualification there for that second heat, but Lopez Sanz confirmed as a winner. Kubota and Yarman in second and third position. They should go through to the final disqualifiers for the final. Paskakov, the final swimmer, to make it just ahead of Franenko. But Lopez Sanz will lead the way ahead of Horidian. Could be another cracking race here as well. That one very much up for grabs. Women's 100 backstroke S8. Then we are into the one heat territory, just 10 swimmers. We've got to lose 2 swimmers from this one heat. Some returning swimmers from last night on the 400 freestyle. Alice Ty from Great Britain won that 400 freestyle, very tight contest with her teammate Brock Whiston. And there's Alice Ty looking for a second gold medal of these championships. Alice Ty had a great World Championships back in 2019. And she won 7 gold medals at single games. Incredible performance. Full lineup for this one. Duskova, Czech swimmer in lane 0. Zhu from China in 1. Palazzo, Italy into Mira-Jean Mack from Germany in 3. Alice Ty, Great Britain in 4. Victoria Ishilova, neutral para-athlete, going in 5. Jen Ting from China in 6. Second Czech swimmer is Alexander Borska in 7. Mexico's Rubalcaba Nunes in 8. Polo Navina in the outside lane, right at the bottom from Croatia, completes the lineup. Alice Ty, well, she's dominated this event recently. She is a world record holder, and that was set back in those world champs in London in 2019. But Ishilova might be one to challenge that dominance of Alice Ty.
Yeah, Ishilova got off to a very good start there, maximising her advantage off the wall and using that 14.5 metres underwater. Zhu up in lane 1 for China did the same. Alice Ty does have great swim speed on this backstroke, and she does tend to pace her way through the week's programme. This is the first time that we're seeing Victoria Ishilova this week. She turns 38.13 to Ty's 38.30 with Miriam Chian Mack 38.94 at the halfway point. Ty is a great all-rounder, but backstroke is probably her preferred event and the one that she is the most natural at. She's starting to come out now, looking very calm and comfortable, as is Ishilova. Both of those athletes at the front of the field really now just cruising into the wall.
Ishilova might just get this one. Does Ty want to get to the wall first? And she does time it perfectly there to win by 3/100ths of a second. Alice Ty 1:19.19. Victoria Ishilova 1:19.22. Zheng Tingting in third in 1:20 ahead of the German Mira-Jean Mack in 1:20.66. And Alice Ty, again, as you said, Liz, that 400 last night, back in the water again the morning after. Look at that arc in the back there of Ishilova. That's a fantastic shot there for the Russian. She has the strong legs, of course, to get off the wall. I just think she's a great technician, Ishilova, isn't she?
Yeah, she really maximized. You said you can't, when you're swimming single arm like that, you really have to get hold of the water and use the length of the stroke. So, which is why we see a much lower stroke rate from her, but the distance that she travels with each stroke is significant.
Alice Ty is the winner of that one and only heat of the 100 backstroke for women, S8. She will progress to the final. Polo Navina, final swimmer in ahead of Duskova and Palazzo, who will miss out. Ty and Ishilova will go again head to head. They'll be in the middle lanes in that final. 100 butterfly. S11, heat 1. David Kratochvil, fresh from the win he had in the 50 freestyle last night. He goes in the middle lane, lane number 4. World record holder from Ukraine, Danilo Chufarov. He's a reigning champion in this one. He'll go in lane number 5. It's the S11. Classifications though, Les, we love the S11. Swimmers with no vision at all will be wearing the blacked out goggles in the main.
Yes, they will. Which always then means that there's a bit of time at the end of each race before the result can be confirmed whilst those goggles are checked. A lot of athletes you see use starting devices. They all get signed off prior to the competition beginning, but the goggles are something that get checked after every race for these S11 athletes.
And we looked at some of the tap and sticks yesterday. Some of the American one that we saw in the S12 event. It's absolutely huge. It was bigger than the gate that the swimmers came out in.
Yeah, and the athletes all have a personal preference. I think yesterday that S12 event was 100 meters backstroke, and it's very difficult. I'm sure you definitely were a tapper at some point. It would in history, Paul.
Yeah, well,
and
yeah,
so I think the thing is,
happen.
backstroke is significantly harder because of the way that your arms come to the center of your stroke when you're swimming. So if you've got that longer stroke, that longer tapping stick, you can do it further out, and you've got more chance of missing those arms as they come closer to the wall. Well, that's my theory anyway.
Well, traditionally it was always the head that the tappers.
Nobody does that anymore on backstroke.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. And that was the traditional thing, and that's the kind of techniques that have developed over the years. People have seen better ways of doing things when they come to these major championships.
Look at that tapper stick.
Looks almost industrial, that one. I hope that that's just tape on it, not just a metal end of the stick. Kozlowski,
Take your
Bishin,
marks.
Krotokvil, Chufarov and Gelis. The lineup for this first heat. First of 2 heats. Chufarov, the world record holder, and he set that back in Manchester at the World Championships when he took the title in 2023. But the man who has been certainly on form over the last couple of years has been David Kratochvil, the youngster, the 17 years age swimmer, now gone out in 28.47, very, very fast first 50.
Yeah, he's ahead of 29.26 for Chufarov, with Lee 29.28. They were top 3, a great front shot there. You can just see how Chufarov is leading. Lee then moving towards the lane rope. That red hat of China, but it will be Kratochvil that comes in to take this one.
And reaches for that wall in 102.98, Lee in 104.27, and Chufarov 104.35. That's the top 3. Gelis in 107.50, and also Kozlowski coming in 113.86.
Well, Chufarov was in great form at those World Championships in Manchester. He won in that world record time. Yes, then he caught the wall, didn't he? And really hurt his wrist, which is
that's right.
always a bit more of a risk for these S11 swimmers. They don't slow down as they go into those walls, and it is all to do with that tap and stick and the length of stroke and the precision with which they hit that touch pad. You saw there Kratochvil not quite finishing on a full stroke, so he'll have a bit of more time in him tonight. But as we keep talking about in these S11 events, anything can happen.
Absolutely. Checking the goggles now before we get a confirmed result.
result will be confirmed. So on the S11 events, this is the
And of course, we spoke about the S11 events, and some people have progressed into the S11 after having some sight, and other ones like are born without vision. And in terms of, you can almost see the different techniques of these swimmers, can't you?
Yeah, and a lot of visual impairments do deteriorate over time. A lot of genetics as well. We often see a lot of siblings swimming in the visually impaired categories. As we just look at these results.
Yeah, Doddsfield taking that one, 102.98, ahead of Lee, 104.27, and Chufarov in third.
And if you think about it, it's like if you've had some vision, then once it very much changes what you perceive when someone's describing something to you. So that typically is what the difference that you see in the strokes. Is if you've never had sight, you've got no concept of what swimming should look like. And there is an element of difference there, but then also you don't have to overcome some of the other challenges that people who lose their sight do. So it's a mixed bag in this S11 category.
It certainly is. That's what keeps it exciting. We love the S11 events. We have Keiichi Kimura in this one. Twice a Paralympic champion,
Take your
including one in
marks.
those Tokyo Games. In his home games. Next to him, Uchu Tomita. Going from the top, Hua Dongdong from China, Uchu Tomita and Keiichi Kimura. They go in 3 and 4, the Japanese swimmers. Thomas Rokas Matera, who had a great swim yesterday in the 50 freestyle. Mikhailo Serbin goes for Ukraine in 6, and Nandal from India in lane number 7. But Paralympic champion Keiichi Kimura looking to claim another world title. He's won 2 world titles, 3 world titles in this one actually, going far back as 2015, so looking to add another one.
Yeah, he turned first, 28.70. You can see there he's got a very different stroke to those athletes either side of him. Matera in that blue hat of Brazil, his brother, the S12 world champion back in Manchester. And you can see Matera came from nowhere in that 50 freestyle last night to sneak onto that podium, and he's having a good closing phase here too.
He certainly is. He's coming through and he's going to take this one, I think, taking the tap. That was a hefty tap at the end there from Roka Matera. Kimura in 2nd and Tomita in 3rd, and that is an America's record time. And, well, that is a long-standing America's record that has just gone. 103.20 has beaten the time of the USA's John Morgan, 103.50 from Barcelona, 92.
You were there, Paul.
I was there. I remember it well.
Well, Matera, he medalled in Mexico back at the World Championships. And again, we've talked about how people move down the classifications. He hasn't really featured in the Brazilian team highly, but he's definitely come into form at these championships. He finished very strongly.
Kimura was there or thereabouts, 103.49, but it was so strong at the end. We saw it in the 50, so strong at the end from Roka Matera. Strong again in the fly. If that result is confirmed, well, that long-standing record, how long is it since? Well, we need to do some maths now. 33
You're good at maths.
years. 33 years.
You just don't want to do the math
record.
because
I know,
you were there.
It's like yesterday. John Morgan was an absolute phenomenon. I think still some records stand for John Morgan. Some world records, I think, in the longer distances. So
Again, he was an example of someone who lost his sight, though, wasn't he?
he was, yes. It was through an accident, and he was a swimmer before moved through the classes actually. Went from a 12 down to an 11, and when he eventually lost all his sight. And, yeah, he was an absolute star. But yeah, his record could have gone if this result is confirmed. We shall see. Good swim there from Roka Matera. Very much the informed swimmer, I think, in this S11, or one of the informed swimmers. Kimura and Tomita, as it stands, in 2nd and 3rd in that heat. There we go. Kratochvil leads the way into the final, 102.98. Thomas Roka Matera has broken that 33-year-old America's record. He will be there in 2nd position. It will be the 2 Japanese swimmers also in there, Kimura and Tomita. Lee will be in there. Chufarov, the world record holder, will be in there as well. Serbin and Gelis complete the lineup. So that was good, wasn't it? S12, 100 butterfly. Coming out now, the two Salai brothers, side by side, in the middle of the pool in 4 and 5. Again, one heat of this one.
Oh, we talked about it as well. There's 2 Materas and 2 races. Douglas Matera goes in 7 for Brazil.
There's Evan Wilkinson with that huge tapping stick there. Doesn't seem to be quite as big a tapping stick for this event, this 100 fly.
Maybe I knew more about backstroke than I thought.
That's why you're here, Johnson. That's all right.
Backstroke.
Well, I have to say the lane 7, the Brazilian tapper, is quite dull. You see it just on the right hand side of the shot there, coming right up to the boards. Again, it's the S12 class. Some of the swimmers choose to have the tapper, but most of the swimmers in this heat won't have a tapper. Full lineup: Timofey Guk and Maxim Vaskovic, the neutral para athletes in 0 and 1. Ferran Gutierrez goes into Kylian Portal for France, the rising star, the French team medalist in Paris last year. He goes in 3. The 2 Salai brothers, Dimitri in 4, Raman in 5, Kuzman in 6, Douglas Matera for Brazil in 7, Deng in 8, and Wilkerson completes the lineup in lane number 9. They'll lose 2. Top 8 will go to the final.
Well, that red hat of Raman Salai going well in lane 5. He leads the way. Strong underwater for him. Close behind him for Portal and Dimitri Salai. They're neck and neck. 26.03 was Salai's time. Portal 26.65, 27.07 for Dimitri Salai. See Salai looking strong. Portal coming back though.
Yeah, it's closing up here. And it is Raman Salai will be into the wall first, but he was being caught in the closing stages by Kylian Portal. 57.85, 58.41 for Portal. Dimitri Salai in 3rd, 58.52. And Kuzman in 4th, 59.40. First 5 swimmers under the 1 minute mark in that one. It's a good start for Raman Salai. Again, he has a world Paralympic title, in Tokyo in 2021. Dimitri Salai was the world champion in 2019. So we've got a good pedigree in this event, the 2 Salai brothers. The S12 event, of course, the swimmers with partial vision. Douglas Matera, well, he should be in it, should be in that final in 101.22. There we are, he qualifies in an outside lane, Douglas Matera. And he was close to the outside lane when he won that in Manchester back in 23. If we're going to be in for another outside lane flyer potentially. We've got 100 backstroke now for the S14 classifications.
Our Colombian supporter, thank you for submitting your photos. And if you want to see yourself on a big screen, do scan that QR code. We've got our friends from...
Is it going through the crowd again? Some crowd interaction this morning. School kids. Still in here, there we go.
Not a bad. Is it Monday today? Monday morning?
Yeah, I think so. Day 2 it is. We don't work on days of the week now. We're at day 2 of the championship.
We did say that to someone, didn't we? This morning when they said something, we were like, we don't know. It's just day 2. We only go by numbers for the next week. There are the Portals. They just had something exciting to watch.
Yeah, regular supporters of the Portals around the world. We've seen them at almost every major championship. I think every major championship so about the last 5 years. So no surprise to see them in the crowd. We have the S14s now, swimmers with an intellectual impairment. Lee In-Cook from Korea. will go in lane number 2. We've got a spare lane in lane number 3. Gabriel Bandeira from Brazil next to his teammate Arthur Xavier Ribeiro. They go in 4 and 5. Miprom from Thailand in 6, and Algabars from Philippines in lane number 7. So, no swimmer in lane number 3. That's a shame. Alexander Hillhouse, who had a very good Paralympic Games from Denmark, not taking the start in this one. And Gabriel Bandeira, silver medalist in the 200 freestyle last night, and he impressed us, didn't he, Liz, Gabriel Bandeira, with that performance? And America's records, probably one of the best 200 swims that we've seen him do.
Take your marks.
Bandeira in that centre lane. It's got a lot of promise. We talk a lot about the S14 athletes and the different challenges they have that bring them into this classification, and sometimes it can be pacing, sometimes it can be the management of emotions, sometimes it can be due to their memory and their coordination patterns, and so that's what you're saying. With Bandeira, he always shows promise, but it's about bringing it together on the day to deliver. And as they go over, it's actually his compatriot Arthur Ribeiro that turns first, 28.15, ahead of Bandeira, 29.29, and then Inku Lee just behind, 29.39. He was the Paralympic champion back in 2016, but here going well, it is Ribeiro.
Yeah, Ribeiro is coming through. He's going to dip under the 1 minute mark potentially here. His best time of the year, 59.1. He's gone 59.6, 59.61 for Xavier Ribeiro. Bandeira 61 flat, and Miprom 62 flat. Lee and Cook 102.49. Well, 6 swimmers in the second heat, so the top 2 should qualify safely, and the others will have to wait for that. But yeah, good swim from the 2 Brazilians there. Maybe not the result we expected, but Xavier Ribeiro has come through really strongly in the last year or 2.
Yeah, he's still only 18 years old, and again, there's something like that when you've only got, if you're finishing in the top 2, then you make it. That's something that these athletes can process. If the last thing that their coaches say to them is make sure you touch top 2, then they can sort of control making that happen if they've got the speed to do so, obviously, which is what happened.
There's Brazil top 2. Xavier Ribeiro, Bandeira, Miprom, Lee and Cook. So 6 swimmers in this second heat. Quite a strong lineup though. Vasil Krajnic into Will Ellard, fresh from that 200 freestyle world record swim. He goes in lane number 3. Benjamin Hans from Australia, world record holder, Paralympic and world champion, the Australian. Mark Tomsett from Great Britain, the European record holder. Declan Budd, the second Australian, goes in 6, and Reika Gosi from Japan in 7.
Take your marks.
Well, as they get away, Benjamin Hans of Australia in lane 4. He really is in a league of his own in this 100 metres backstroke S14. When he gets it right, no one can get anywhere near him. And as you see already, through 25 metres, it's almost a body length up on Paralympic Games bronze medalist Mark Tomsett of Great Britain. As they go under the flags and into the turn, it will be Hans, 26.81. It's under world record split, so you've got to come back. We do see Hans perform well in the heats, and he's going exceptionally well here through 75 metres. Thompson 28.05 with Ellard 29 flat.
Well, we'll just keep an eye on this time as Hans comes into the wall. He's really going for this one. Tomsett in second, Ellard in third, but here comes Hans into the wall now, and it is 55.99. My goodness, a world record swim for Benjamin Hans of Australia, and what a swim that was in the heats. 55.99. Hans takes the world record. Wow. Well, just incredible swim there from the Australian. Tom Sepp finishing second, 58.70. Ellard in third, 1 minute point 34. But as you said, Liz, Hans in a league of his own.
Well, it's just what we've come to expect from him, really. And he broke that world record earlier in the year, 56.35. And he's just getting better and better. So smooth. And again, he's so far ahead that you can actually then remove a bit of that anxiety that sometimes these S14 athletes experience. There we can see Declan Budd's supporters. He's the rookie of the Australian team.
He's qualified for that final, Declan Budd, but his teammate Benjamin Hans confirmed 55.99 world record time in the heats. Absolutely incredible. Well, twice he's been a world champion, Liz. Going to be anybody betting against him tonight?
Not me.
Oh. Can anyone step up to challenge the great Benjamin Hans? We shall see later on tonight. Are we going to be in for another record tonight? Wow. Under backstroke for women. We saw the lineup. 3 swimmers from Great Britain in the centre lanes. They had some good performances in this event last night, in the S14 event, 200 freestyle last night. A gold and bronze medal for the Great Britain team in this women's S14 event. Let's see what we can get here. I'll make our way out to the respective lanes. Serizawa from Japan in 1. Salinas Rojas from Mexico. Serizawa in 0. Always catching us out. Salinas Rojas in 1, Suarez de Oliveira in 2, Sheffield in 3, Maskell in 4, Firth in 5, Shabalina in 6, Van Dijk in 7, and Kajamata in 8. So 1 swimmer to lose from these heats. And the 3 Great Britain swimmers in that centre lane, 3, 4 and 5, were the 3 medalists from the last World Championships in Manchester. That time the order was Bethany Firth in first, Poppy Maskell in second, and Georgia Sheffield in third place. So Great Britain team will be hoping for a repeat of that, but we shall see. 1 heat only, 1 swimmer to lose. Bethany Firth in lane number 5 has got an incredible record in this event. Last 3 World Championships she has taken the title. She missed out in the Paralympic Games last year, giving birth to her daughter, and she's back in the water again, Bethany Firth.
Yeah, she's really happy to be back. She's going well here, like you said. She's a great all-rounder, but the backstroke is really where she announced herself on the major championship scene. There we are with her right now underwater. She's going well here, attacking this down the first 50. We saw her waiting for transport yesterday, and her main goal is to make the final, because I think that is when Charlotte will be in attendance tonight. But it is the Brits out in front. Georgia Sheffield 32-39. A little disappointed to be just off the podium last night. So she'll be attacking this morning. 33.53 for Maskell, with Suarez de Oliveira of Brazil 33.75 at the halfway point. But it's starting to spread out a bit now. Firth starting to slow down, and Sheffield looks to be coming through, but Firth has done enough.
Yeah, it's going to be Bethany Firth into the wall first, 107.18. Georgia Sheffield, 107.63 for her. Poppy Maskell, the Paralympic champion, in third. So it is Great Britain 1, 2 and 3. They will make it into that final if the result is confirmed. Suarez de Oliveira and Shabalina, the next 2. Shabalina, silver medalist in the Paralympic Games, and again, she's capable of going much faster, Shabalina. We might see a little bit of a faster swim in the final from all of these leading contenders, I would think.
Yeah, especially I think Shabalina, she's got the opportunity to upset the British party once again.
Great Britain 1, 2 and 3. into that final tonight. Firth, Sheffield and Maskell. Can anyone challenge the GB swimmers? So S14 races all teed up for tonight. We saw Benjamin Hans, who's dominated that 100 backstroke. Now got Talso Engel, who has dominated this one, the 100 breaststroke SB13. He's the world record holder. He goes in lane number 4 in this visually impaired SB13 classification. Thomas van Rooij of Netherlands. Next to him in lane number 5. Had a quick chat with him yesterday. This is one of the events that he's targeting, Thomas van Rooij. Again, seeing the Dutch swimmers, well, he had a smaller programme this year, and we found that with quite a lot of the swimmers swimming a smaller programme at these World Championships than they're maybe used to.
Yeah, I think again, like we said, we keep saying it, but after Paralympic year, if you've been in the game a long time, you've got to look at what's going to preserve your longevity for potentially another cycle. And sometimes that is doing alternative training, taking a bit more rest, doing something different in your private life, and which then means that you probably these major championships then come around quite quickly, and potentially you're not quite as prepared as you would be to take on a full program. And it's a sort of a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain approach. And we've seen a number of the experienced athletes that have got big programs typically taking that approach here in Singapore.
Well, the lineups for this one: Saito, Steen, Kavaloniak, Lisitsky, Engel, world record holder in lane number 4, Van Rooij, Batista Silva, Hebmuller, Virchenko, and the Singapore swimmer Wong. 2 swimmers we will lose. Wong Ji-wei hoping to make it into the final for Singapore. We haven't seen any finalists so far. We've still got some big swims to come this week though, the host nation. Engel of Andrew has absolutely dominated this event for the past few years. 3 times a world champion and twice a Paralympic champion. The German, big star in Germany, was featured in Dancing with the Stars, Talso Engel, last year.
He was, and he's going well here. We've, again, come used to him attacking the heats because he has that luxury, because he tends to have such a big margin over the rest of the field. 28.5, he is under the world record split. Can he maintain that speed as he comes through, approaching the 75-metre mark? He looks strong. He's 3 seconds quicker than anyone else, almost 4 at the world rankings this year, so he can do that. He does look to have slowed his stroke rate a little now as we come into the final 15, but going very well indeed.
Absolutely, 101.84 is the world record time. No, he's not going to be too far away from that one, and he's just slipped into the 102 range, 102.42. It's a championship record for Talso Engel. Thomas van Rooij second, 106.68, and Lisitsky in third, 108.69, just ahead of the second neutral para athlete Kavaloniak, 109.31. But yeah, dominant performance from Talso Engel. He has been good form even this year, coming back from the Paralympic Games and taking part in that TV program Dancing with the Stars. He still set a world record earlier in the year in the 200 breaststroke, so still right there.
Well,
great shape.
That just goes to show as well that when you're doing something differently, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. And anybody that knows anyone that's danced on any equivalent of Dancing with the Stars, because it's called different things in different countries, knows just how intense those training programs are. So it will have matched his swimming program in terms of cardio and strength for sure.
You not fancy at this, Dancing with the Stars?
I don't think I've got the coordination.
Engel will go to the final, 102.42. Championship record from the heats. Let's see what the women can do. They've got 2 heats. Surprised they haven't asked you already in these dancing shows.
You're
With
not,
media lifestyle.
don't know that they haven't. I don't know. So it'll be complicated. Can you imagine my balance?
Let's concentrate on the women on this one.
Yeah, but I have to start taking up swimming again if that was the case.
Do you think so?
No. New sport. I'd pick a new sport. My swimming days are done.
Pickleball.
Yes. Everybody should play pickleball.
We got 5 in this first heat, 6 in the second. Sina Likova from Kazakhstan in 2. Zudzilava from neutral para team in 3. Roisin Narian from Ireland going in lane number 4. Alana Ferreira from South Africa in 5. And Emma Firu Martin
Take your marks.
from Spain in lane number 6. Oh, it's an up and down day for Roisin Narian yesterday. She was disqualified in the heats of the 100 butterfly, reinstated, and she went on to take a bronze medal. So Roisin looking forward to this one, and she's out ahead at the minute. Zudzilava challenging her 1 lane up.
She's looking good here in the early stages. Zudzilava leads the way. They come into the one and only turn in this one. And it is Zudzilava 36.91 to Norian's 37.79 with Filu Martin 39.09, just ahead of Alani Ferreira. It's a good turn from Norian. She is in the top of those yellow lanes. The one on the right now, they are level as they go into the final 25 metres.
She's got a decent record in this one, the Irish swimmer. She's a European champion. And Zudzilava swimming well, also a medalist, finalist at the Europeans and at the World Championships as well. And it's going to be these two into the wall. It will be Zudzilava, 119.55 for her. That is a decent swim from Zudzilava. Narian in second, just over the 120 mark, 120.04, and Emma Filu Martin in third, 122.62, just ahead of Alani Ferreira, 122.75. Wonder if that is going to be vital when they sort out the places in that final. So 122.62. Narian and Zudzilava should be in that final safely with only 6 in that second heat.
Yeah, Nuriana, we can see she came off that wall really well to eat into the early advantage of Zudzilava down that first 50 metres.
There is the result, 119.55 for the neutral para athlete. The Irish swimmer in second and the Spanish swimmer in third, just ahead of the South African. And there's the lineup for heat number 2. Olivia Chambers, the Paralympic Games silver medalist. Right in the centre here. Second of the South Africans. This heat, Danica Vanke. Full lineup for this one. Ariadna Edo Beltran up there in lane number 2.
Take your marks.
Banano Kalilova in lane number 3. Olivia Chambers in 4. Marianne Paul Lopez in 5. Danica Vanke in 6. And Zhang Juyi in lane number 7. Olivia Chambers probably going to be the one to beat the Paralympic Games silver medalist last time, the World Championship bronze medalist, the American, looking to try and claim the first global title of her career.
Yeah, she's going well down this first 50 metres. She's got a strong breaststroke, very different style to a number of the other swimmers. She's around the wall well there, 36.65 to Kelly Balova's 37.91 with Polo Lopez 38.19. No Rebecca Redfern of Great Britain, who tops the world rankings this year in this event, so it's a real opportunity for Chambers to take that mantle as she goes through the 75-meter mark. So, say 2 body lengths ahead of the rest of the field. Going back strongly is Polo Lopez, though. She starts to overhaul Kalilova.
It's a great 400 freestyler as well. Chambers, Paralympic champion in that event. But it's this event she is focusing on today. And 1:17.77 puts her in a great position going into that final if the result is confirmed. Polo Lopez in second, 1:21.30. And Kalilova in third position, 1:22.23, just ahead of Danica Vanka, 1:22.59. I think they might just both make it in, actually. So it might be 4 from the first heat and 4 from the second. But Olivia Chambers, that looked pretty decent indeed. 1:17.77, just half a second shy of her fastest time of the year. And only 7/100 slower than she went in the final in the Paralympic Games last year. So a swimmer very much on form, 22 years of age, as I said, looking for that first global title in this event. She's looking to be the favourite, isn't she, Liz?
Yeah, she looked very strong, particularly down that first 50 metres.
So there we go. It is 4 from the first heat and 4 from the second. Olivia Chambers leads the way, 1:17.77 for the American. Americans are ramping up for quite a good night tonight. Had quite a good few qualifiers in the top spots.
Yeah, like you said, they started very well last night. And that's set them up well now, I think, for the week.
Please welcome the athletes for the men's 200 metres individual medley.
200 IM SM9. That's the lineup for the first heat. 7 in this first heat, 8 in the second. Here's Hugo Didier from France. Well, what Paralympic Games Hugo Didier had last year. It was all in the first event of the whole Paralympic programme. And Hugo Didier took that gold medal in Paris for the host nation. That was an incredible performance.
It did really set the tone and the atmosphere at La Défense Arena for the entire week, didn't it?
Let's hope that the host nation Singapore has some success this week. It'd be great to see, wouldn't it?
It always adds something, doesn't it, when the host nation picks up a podium place.
So 3 Spanish swimmers in this one. Oscar Salguero Galisteo in 1.
Take your marks.
First of the Spaniards. Kawabuchi from Japan in 2. Escanilla Candiel from Spain in 3. Hugo Didier from France, Paralympic and world silver medalist. The Frenchman, he goes in 4. Bogdan Mozgovoy, New Jersey para athlete in 5. Ziel from China in 6. And third Spaniard, Jacobo Garrido Brun, in the outside lane, in lane number 7.
Well, Ziel in 6 and Garrido Brun in 7. We've gone well on that first butterfly leg, 28.59 to 29.58 with Kawabuchi 30.28. Hugo Didier with an excellent backstroke and freestyle leg of this individual medley. At the moment, going well in 6 still. It is Z of China.
Yeah, Didier coming back strongly in that centre lane. Now, the Frenchman might just hit the front. Good backstroke leg there for him as he goes through. Didier, 105.44. Z now in second, 106.45. Moscovoy, 106.58. Again, top 8 fastest times from the 2 heats will come through. Escanilla Candial now beginning to make a little bit of a move, the Spaniard, but Didier very strong all the way through this individual medley. I think probably butterfly's weakest stroke of the 4 strokes, isn't it?
Yeah, he's worked hard on that breaststroke. Watch Salguero Galisteo up there in lane 1 for Spain as well. He's got an excellent breaststroke So we'll look to bring him back into contention with 50 meters to go. As we come into the final turn, it is Didier 146.79, Escanella Candial for 148.58. Z holding on to that third position just behind Salguero Gosesteo.
Yeah, Didier now coming under a little bit of a threat from Escanella Candial as they approach the final stages of this one, and G also working very hard as well. The Chinese swimmer in lane number 6, but it is going to be Hugo Didier, Paralympic Games silver medalist, and he will be into the wall first. Well done, Hugo Didier. 220.05 for him, 229.2 for Z. Excellent swim for the Chinese swimmer, and 229.6 for Escanella Candial. And, well, you would think that'd be good enough for those top 3 to make it into that final. Moscovoy was 4th, 224.45. Might be in a little bit of trouble there. Moscovoy, the neutral para-athlete.
Yeah, it'll be a nervous wait because we've seen there have been some tight finishes and touches in some of the heats. Not that long ago, we had all swimmers from heat 2 progress. It is always a possibility. Like we said, unlikely a lot of the time, especially when there's 8 in the second heat. Hugo Didier, strong swim for him. He swam well too in those closing stages.
Yeah, pretty good. Hugo Didier. 220.05, he takes that first heat. That's the target for the second heat to come. Another Frenchman in this second heat. That's Hector Denaye, the winner of the breaststroke yesterday. He goes in lane number 5. Full lineup. Dos Santos Almeida from Brazil, Jonas Kesner, Czech swimmer, into Andre Kalina, great champion of the past, vastly experienced swimmer. He goes in lane number 3. Timothy Hodge, the reigning world champion, the reigning Paralympic champion and world record holder from Australia. He goes in 4. Denaye, the winner of the breaststroke last night, in 5. Maurice Vettigam from Germany in 6. Sander Visser from Belgium in 7. And Zarev Pulas Mazvaladi from Iran in 8. Well, Timothy Hodge has been the dominant force in this one, Liz, for the past few years. He leads the world rankings this year. He's the world record holder that set that last year. Paralympic champion as well, and world champion. He's got all the major honours, Tim Hodge.
Yeah, and he started out as a rookie all those years ago and has really come of age. We see a lot of the swimmers that do get brought with their squads as youngsters. It sets them up so well for when the time comes for them to be ready to dominate. And dominate he has. Going well right at the top at the moment is Victor Almeida for Brazil. Kalina there in 3, taking this backstroke very easily. Not quite sure what's going on there. He's a great breaststroker,
but he's left himself a lot of steam.
Yes, he has. Hodge though, not so much. 103.12 at the turn, 104.36 for Almeida, who is an excellent backstroker. Again, a youngster coming of age through experience on the Brazilian squad. De Visser, 105.45. That was the halfway point, but Denaye of France, we can see him now, that blue hat in the bottom yellow lane. He won last night. A great swim from him, using that breaststroke to move through the field. Timothy Hodge, though, in a commanding position at the front. 144.55. Denaye with a split of 39 flat. Actually, Maurice Wittigam had a split of 38.84, so it was the German with the quickest breaststroke of the field, other than the great Andre Kalina, 37.93. But it's this man in the golden cap of Australia, Timothy Hodge, looking very comfortable, setting himself up well for a great swim this evening.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to just dip under that 220 mark like we saw from Hugo Didier. Yeah, well under it, 218.59. He'll be the fastest into that final. Denaye stretches in. There'll be two Frenchmen there as well. 2:21.96. Vetakam could swim 2:28.98. De Visser in fourth, 2:23. And Kalina just coming in now for 8th place. Great man with his first World Championships in 2002. We saw him swim a good breaststroke element of that IM, but taking the rest of it pretty relaxed for Kalina, so he's not going to be into that final. But Tim Hodge will be, and he'll certainly be the favourite to take that title again, to retain that title that he won in 2023 and in 2022.
Yeah, he's going for that hat-trick, and it really is. He's really accomplished across the 4 strokes, which is what you need in an individual medley.
So Hodge will lead the way ahead of Didier G, Escanilla, Candial, Denaye. That's the top 5. Andre Kalina there in 14th position, but breaststroke looked pretty good there in that individual medley. I wonder what we expect from him when we come to the SB8
We
breaststroke later in the week.
definitely got a glimpse of his breaststroke potential, didn't we, once again? Don't know how he does it. He was in Athens with us.
Yeah.
Well,
He
me.
was in Mar del Plata 2002.
Again, with us. And you know, we're here and
I wasn't swimming there. I was retired by then.
you're still there, though. You've never left.
Women's 200 individual medley SM9, the last action of this morning's heats. Again, just one heat. We have 10 swimmers in this one, so we'll lose 2 swimmers. Yes, Beatrice Larida Maldonado making her way out to lane number 9, Sofia Concoli. Well, she's going to be favourite for this one. Again, like Tim Hodge, reigning Paralympic champion, reigning world champion, twice over. Concoli in lane number 4. This SM9 has seen some cracking contests over the years. Mariah Marquez Soto, silver medalist at the Paralympic Games. She goes in lane number 5. Bronze medalist at those games was Anastasia Dimitrov. She goes in lane number 3. So full lineup. Maeda from Japan in 0. Boryszyska from Poland in 1. Su Jiling
Take your marks.
from China goes into Dimitrov in 3. Concoli in 4. Marcus Soto in 5. Mary Jebb, the world ranking leader, goes in lane number 6. I think we've got anyone in 7. We could have 8. Liu Ying from China in 8, and Beatrice Larida Maldonado goes in lane number 9. So we've already lost 1 swimmer, so only have to lose 1 more, Liz.
Well, that means there are still those 8 spaces up for grabs, and there's always an opportunity, this SM9 200 metre individual medley, to get on the podium. There's quite often some surprises in that bronze medal position, because a lot of the swimmers are relatively evenly matched across the 4 strokes. As we see, Marcus Soto lead in 32.82. She's got a great first 100 metres and a very strong freestyle as well. 33.06 was Concoli's split. 33.31 for Dimitrov, just ahead of Zhu and Jib. And in lane 5 here now, it is still Marcus Soto leading the way. She's worked hard on her breaststroke. Here's an SB8 for breaststroke. There's a number of these swimmers still SB9s, so she works hard. Dimitrov is the breaststroke specialist, so watch her cut through the pool and the rest of the field in lane number 3. Like you said, only 1 swimmer needs to be lost, so there's no need to go too intensely for the other swimmers in this one, especially if you are at the front. Jib of Canada starting to come back on Marcus Soto.
Yeah, said she is the world leader this year. Mary Jebb from Canada, 18-year-old. She was a finalist at the Paralympic Games last year, finishing 7th position. And she's come up into second now. Marcus Soto still has that edge, but yeah, Mary Jibb going really well now in lane number 6, and she means business. Marcus Soto has just eased back now. Conkley coming back on terms with the Spanish swimmer. I think Marcus Soto's done her job now, and Jibb is going to get the glory here and going to be in that centre lane for the final. So let's see what kind of time that Mary Jibb can register here. Her best this year is 2:38.46. Look at that, 2:35.51. And she has broken the America's record. Well, another long-standing America's record has gone there, Liz, and that record was held by Stephanie Dixon from Beijing in 2008. So the America's record for the Canadian, taking it from another Canadian, Stephanie Dixon. Wow, that's Stephanie Dixon, fantastic athlete back in the day at those times. So that's a big name that Mary Jibb's taking the record from.
But it shows just how strong a swim it was from Stephanie Dixon back in Beijing in 2008. She was, as you said, an incredible athlete. A lot for Canadian swimming. They were an example of a squad that was small but mighty back in those times. And great to see Mary Jibb stepping up here. It's difficult sometimes when you come in with that world of her own ranking and you know the class that is lining up next to you, but she didn't let it phase her, and she'll be pleased with that swim this morning.
Yeah, no wonder. Fantastic swim there from Mary Jibb. Let's just wait for confirmation of the result to see if that America's record is confirmed, and it certainly is. Mary Jibb will take that one. America's record. Fantastic swim there. Tu Jieling is through now into the final. And that is the final action for the heats today. And we will be back again for the final session. We've really set up some great swims tonight for the finals. That world record swim for Benjamin Hans, real highlight this morning. It'll be interesting to see what he can do tonight in that final. We will be back at 17:30 local time here in Singapore. So for myself, Paul Noble, and Liz Johnson, bye for now, and we'll see you later.